Oh, are we rolling?
We've been rolling. Anytime we see the numbers hit, baby, we're rolling.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Welcome to Bussin With The Boys.
Oh. And on Bussin With The Boys, you get the best deals, you get the best stuff, and you get to be a part of a beautiful thing, and that is Chevy Silverado, the most durable, reliable vehicle on the road. We talk about all the time those 9-to-5 guys, those hard hat wearing cats, show up on time and maybe stay a few extra minutes late just to get the job done the right way. That's what the Chevy Silverado is all about. That's the people that drive them.
Tell them how they can save a few minutes now with this new multi-flex tailgate.
Oh, I'd love to.
The hard workers, they can work smarter now because there's this multi-flex
work smarter,
tailgate.
Not harder, but if you work smarter and harder, God bless, son. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Don't question his plan. The available multi-flex tailgate with 6 convenient configurations will give you a step up on your tailgate game. There's the primary tailgate, which opens up with a push of a button on the key fob or from inside of the truck. The inner gate folds to a large step for easily getting in and out of the bed. Now, that's a huge thing, right? When you're a kid, you hop around everything. You start to get a little older, hips start to hurt a little bit. Getting in and out is nice. Doesn't matter what age you are.
Mm-hmm.
There is an easy access configuration where the inner gate folds down, allowing you to reach farther into the bed. It can also become a desk or a surface for your tailgating meal. Chevy Silverado, modern and advanced with a ton of grit. A partner in getting things done. Silverado is strong and dependable as the people who drive them. And that's a full circle way to say, if you drive a Chevy Silverado, people are probably, I'm not saying this is a fact, but when you see a Chevy Silverado, you think, I can trust that person.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? They can watch my children.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're a Chevy guy.
Oh, every day, all day.
All day, every day.
365.
Yeah. All of those numbers. In any order you want.
Do you read children's books to your kids?
Listen, so get this. I read a book to my daughter every single night before bed.
Yeah.
And I fucking slay.
Really?
And I'm no joke, and this is I'm not even trying to be funny. I think in my head while I'm reading this book, yo, if Will could just see me now. I swear to God, dude. I literally think to myself, dude, if I could just do it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because my daughter's there. She's not even paying attention anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I fluctuate the voice. I do different sounds with different animals. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking journey when you go to bed with me. Not that way. You know what I'm saying? When you put your children to bed.
Yeah.
It's a production. We have fun.
I'm talking about Talon. Journey.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a very long journey.
Yeah.
And one of us definitely enjoys it. But I'm talking about my kids.
Yeah.
And that's a fun deal too. That's a fun deal.
I was thinking that because obviously
I read that pretty decent, I thought. That's the thing.
He took his time, but his voice he was starting to just look at it and read it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the issue is I care so much about the brand.
But I'm saying his voice got quieter. Like he was like laser focused on trying to read it. Instead of being like, I was
interrupted. I think for me, like I get like when I look at the ads and I know that these brands I love these brands. And I love the fact that they've taken their hard-earned money and given it to us to help them reach more people.
Right, to be a vessel.
I get nervous. I'm like, what if I mess this up for them? Because maybe I care too much, you know? And I don't want that. I don't want to feel that way. But with Chevy Silverado, they've put us in good hands. I feel like I got a nice little seat. I honestly feel like this is how I feel like in my truck. Comfortable. You know? So maybe that moment for me was just
like
a little more...
a lazy boy.
A little different. A couple of things are a little different. The way I viewed the Super Bowl this year was a little different.
How'd you view it? Like the way
with my eyes on the TV, but the way I felt is what I'm really getting at.
But I'm saying, I understand that. But what do you mean you felt different? Like
I was salty.
What made you so salty about,
Because I think we've talked about this in the podcast before. Like in 2019 or whatever, we went on the run to the AFC Championship. We did it, and we were like, "Yo, we proved everybody wrong." Like we feel like we still should have gone to the Super Bowl and won it, but we just feel like we proved everybody wrong. And then this year, being the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Feel like you underachieved.
Losing to the Bengals. No offense to the Bengals. Like, that's not an insult. When I say like Bengals, we lost to the Bengals. And it just felt like everyone was doubting us anyway. And it's an opportunity for them to put a feather in their cap and say, we told you so.
Yeah.
You know?
You feel like you underachieved?
Individually, yes. But as a team, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, like
when you have that kind of season with that kind of adversity, and then you get all your guys back at the end, yeah, we did underachieve. Like easy to say.
Right.
You know what I'm
Maybe
saying?
that's where the saltiness is
Every
coming
team
from.
who has a chance to win the Super Bowl, besides those like the Lions, like halfway through the season, you knew they weren't going to win it because they weren't going to make the playoffs. But any team who makes the playoffs, you should view it as underachieving if you don't win it.
Right. Well,
you know unless you're Ben Roethlisberger with the Steelers saying, "Hey, we ain't got to be here anyway."
Yeah, you also just said we made it all the way to the AFC Championship. You feel like you proved a lot of people wrong, so you didn't feel like you didn't feel like you underachieved then.
Right.
But now you feel like you underachieved.
The view changes, and I get what you're saying there. The view changes a little bit because we've grown. Like our fan base has not only grown, but our coaching staff has become a whole lot better. Even when Vrabel first got there till now, the players we have gotten better. Like legit in camp, we're all sitting there going like, "Yo, we're gonna win this thing." And it's the first time people are saying that, and everyone's like believing each other, you know, because every year you're like, we're going to win it all.
Yeah.
And then you kind of see how the season unfolds. You're like, oh, I don't know. You know, good luck, boys.
Yeah.
You know, like, but with all that stuff, you did feel like this year you did underachieve a little bit. So I guess.
What'd you think of the Super Bowl?
That was a good game. I think it was a solid game. I thought that was PI on your boy Ramsey, DPI. When he pulled Buddy's face mask, first play of the second half.
Yeah, 100%.
But if I
face mask on my favorite player in the league.
If you're like, if you're a Rams fan, you say that. But also as a Bengals fan, you could say, yeah, there were 7 penalties on like the 1 yard line.
Yeah, I know. Wilson, that linebacker, he made a good play. Like as a linebacker covering,
he didn't even really grab him like that. He had his arm on him and then stabbed.
And he didn't even yank him. It wasn't even a hard hook.
He stabbed through the pocket.
Yeah, that was a hell of a play.
I thought that was a good play.
Break. And the last play of the game, when Joey B, if he would have had just a couple more seconds.
Oh, shut up.
Jamar was, but again, in Jalen's defense, it's 4th and 1. It's 4th and 1. You're playing a little more aggressive. He probably didn't think Jamar was just going to run a go route on him on 4th and 1. So he's sitting at the hip waiting for a break off, and he just takes off on him. That's tough.
Damn, so that would have been a tutty, you think?
If his eyes would have been downfield, 100%.
Do you guys have do you have a video of it at all? I'd like to see it.
Oh, it's everywhere. Everyone's talking about that last play.
Really?
Yeah.
Speaking of that last play, Quentin Spain, my boy, was the one that gave up that pressure.
Yeah.
But he seemed like he was playing well the whole game.
Right.
And everybody wants to condense you on one play. Like, that's tough. Aaron Donald.
Biggest play of the game.
What's that?
Biggest play of the game, 4th and 1.
Yeah, biggest play of the game.
And Aaron Donald, savage.
Savage. But is he goated?
So everybody's been talking about that.
Yeah. But for a second, like I just gotta have my boy Q's back for a second. Like I thought he played well the whole game, and then that happened. Like that's the life of an offensive lineman.
Do you feel like
you have 65 good snaps, and then on the 66th snap you give up a sack or a pressure?
Do you feel like you got to have his back because he was out there swinging the sword
on Twitter?
Yeah.
No, if I sat there personally with Quentin, I'd be like, "Yo, you can't do that."
Right.
Like you gotta win with grace and lose with grace. Like talking shit is fun. Like is fun. Especially I don't like doing it on Twitter, like real talking shit, because it's not as interactive as I want it to be. I want to catch somebody on their toes right now, and then put them on their heels, because then we can go back and forth and really chirp it out. But on Twitter, like you don't have to respond to me for 30 minutes, and then you think of a good one, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get him with this." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now Jeffrey Simmons,
we're playing chess out there.
Jeffrey Simmons. He body bagged my boy Spain. And that's just the reality. And I know he'd be pissed if he heard this, but buddy.
Oh, he
body bagged you, dude.
He might come after
you. It was a nice little, I don't know. Hey, after the game, Quentin was like, yo, 98, his bitch ass, N-word this, N-word that. He's all this shit. I'm like, I looked at him. I kind of touched his belly. I go, I don't know if you're beating up Jeff, bud. I don't know if he's doing that. And he goes, what you mean? What you mean? And like, for me, it's like, well, you really gonna fight this man over what? You just won. Like it's over.
Right, go enjoy it. I think that was my thing too. He's out there like, I know all y'all wanted me to fail. Like I didn't give up nothing. It's like, bro, you just lost the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, but as a player too, you got to have that like back against the wall mentality. But do that on your own. Like do that on your own time. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let Twitter win. That's letting Twitter win. Oh, being like, you immediately wanted me to fail. There you go.
You immediately went to Twitter and let everybody know they've had real estate in your head by saying like, I know y'all wanted me to fail. Like you just lost the Super Bowl, dude. Like your wounds a little bit.
Go cry.
Sad. Like
cry.
Hug
like
the boys.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Like,
tell the boys you love them. What a season. They won 4 games last year, right? 4 of them. Ugh. That's a tough look for your boy Ramsey. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, dude. So Ramsey there was a few plays, right? He had the one, T. Higgins, first play of the second half. Jamar got him a couple of times. Higgins got him a couple of times. Like, not his best game he's ever played, but doesn't tarnish at all. Like, he's the best corner in the league.
Doesn't bat an eye, dude.
Hey,
Like,
doesn't bat an eye.
He gave up that big play. It was like in the first quarter, I believe. Then he comes back and gets that PBU literally like right after, like they were trying to score.
It.
Yeah, and he just stands up just talking shit. I was talking with Alex.
Shit.
I'm like, when you mess something up, I was like, I would have probably, like as a player, when you did something, you mess up, you're probably like, all right, that's on me, that's on me. But if I break up a pass the next play, like me personally, I'm thinking, okay, get back, you're back on track now. You're getting it back. Yeah. Not like, this is my fucking house, dude. Right. He's like taunting and everything else. I'm like, I love that confidence that you got to have as a corner.
They were talking, like, apparently Chris Collinsworth and the boys were talking to the defensive staff of the Rams and were like, we know who's getting touches where, like relatively, we know who's getting touches based where they lined up, and that's where Jalen's going to go. Like, that's a lot on a dude's plate.
Right.
To just be like, I'm that fucking dude, I'm going to lock down whoever. And he does.
Yeah.
He does. Well, I don't know.
He's a monster, dude.
Yo, he's tall as shit, for sure. And he's always talking.
Yeah.
But you think about dudes like that who are like, were on the Jags a few years ago, and now he's like won the Super Bowl. That's fucking dope. Like, Von Miller gets traded this year, wins the Super Bowl. Aaron Donald, which we got to talk about if he's goated or not.
I think that's tough to do, man. I mean, he's played what? How many years? 8 seasons? 8 seasons. They're talking about him retiring too.
No, 8 Pro Bowls, 7 All-Pros, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
But bro, like I used to look at Reggie White. Bro, Reggie White.
Yeah, but you gotta look at the body of work at that time. Now, I don't know shit about defenses and who's goated, who's not goated. Like, you got to assume if Aaron's on this pace, if he plays 16 years, he also gets 16
hang on now,
Pro Bowls.
But bro, this is the NFL. You like, at one point in time, you would assume J.J. Watt would be all these things, and then he's had an injury-ridden career the last few years.
Yeah, but he's still a GOAT of defensive line.
A GOAT, like a greatest of all time defensive lineman.
He's in the conversation of greatest of all time. Is what I'm trying to say, and that's a lot coming from. I don't like J.J. Watt. I don't like his presence. I don't like his attitude. I don't like anything about the guy.
Right.
But you respect him.
But I'm just saying, like,
the potential. Dude, I saw Derek Watt after the Steelers game, and I basically told him, I don't like your older brother, but you should come on Bussin' With The Boys. And he looked at me like, go fuck yourself, and walked away. Didn't say a word to me. I walked away from the conversation like, yo, fair. Absolutely. I respect that. Yeah. That was a good move.
I deserve that.
Yeah, I deserve that.
But looking at Aaron Donald, it's like, the potential of assuming what he's going to do is different than actually executing it in a sport like football. Like, we're talking Reggie White had how many All-Pros? 8 first team, 5 second team, 13 Pro Bowls. He's on 2 all-decades teams.
Yeah, but Donald he will be on that if he retired right now. He has 7 All-Pros.
Yeah, but he won't be on. What do you mean he'll be on that?
He'll be on 2 all-decade teams.
No, because it's 2021, bro.
No, yeah, it's 2022. It's 2022 right now.
Yeah, but
if he retired right now,
8 more years.
Yeah, but in the next 9 years, there's not going to be a guy that's going to outdo Aaron Donald and not be on the all-decade team for the 20s.
Oh, so you're saying he'll get grandfathered in because of what he did in the 10s?
Yes.
Yeah, but that
happens to everybody, dude.
No,
it happens to everyone who's a big fucking name.
If they just make it into the next year?
A lot of guys.
I want to see that list.
Julius Peppers. It's the first guy that comes to mind. Like, by the time I got in the league, he was like slowing down.
Right.
He was still a behemoth of a man, but the way they talked about him, the way he like.
Yeah, I think he's got like doesn't he have like a record, or he's on like the top of sacks?
Calais Campbell. All right.
Julius Peppers.
Yeah. Yeah, Julius Peppers.
But Julius Peppers, I think he retired around like
J.J. Watt's not a guy that's going to make the all-decade team for the 20s unless like something dramatic happens in the next 3-4 years.
Right.
But Aaron Donald, because he played in that year and the player he was, he's still going to make all-decade team. And we can make this bet 9 years from now.
We could do a bet. 10,000?
Speaking of bets, a T-shirt bet we had. Hey, it was a tough one. Michigan! Come on!
But hang on, let's give. We were just in Arizona too. Let's give Nebraska some flowers. You were just in AZ,
bro. They're deep out there,
bro.
There was like 4-1 Nebraska to Michigan fans. 4-1. Fucking
we're
crazy.
walking around the waste management tour, and this gal had like a Nebraska tattoo on her shoulder.
On her shoulder. I was like,
the end,
tough.
The end.
The end, and it said Huskers through the middle. God, yeah, dude, there were a lot of Nebraska fans out in Arizona. Lots of them. I was at the Buffalo Chip, which is a bar up in Cave Creek, and I'm going to the bathroom. And this dude's in line. He's like, hey, the boy. And I'm like, oh, dude, what's up? He was like, I love your podcast. I'm like, thanks. And he goes, I really fuck with Will, though. I'm a Nebraska fan. He goes, I'm a Nebraska fan.
Just starts throwing the balls.
I go, oh, cool. I had like do that weird turn. Like, I'm ending this conversation with my body now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to say.
Just said that, and then that was cool for both of us, and we move on. Right? But he kind of just shit on me. I was like, damn. My boy's got a real presence out there now, though.
We got a little
imagine
following.
If the Redskins let you do your thing, or the Commodores. What are they called now?
Commanders. The commies. We're the Commanders now, dude.
You're the commies?
Yeah. The Commanders.
Tough. Yeah. I mean, you guys were the Redskins when you played, so I'll just refer to them as when you played the Redskins.
Yeah.
Imagine if the Redskins just kind of let you do whatever.
In what way?
Like, let you have your social media, and you felt like the confidence you do now. Yeah.
Right. That the mental's a lot different back then.
Mental's a lot different.
I had a lot of fun on social media. Like, you go back in the archives, the boys out there. Barstool had me saying the whiskey, beer, more beer, like before games and stuff like that. But I wasn't like out there the way I am now.
No, you had a couple of nice little deals.
Hey, AZ was fun though.
AZ was a blast. Had a good time. Got back to the roots a little bit. Started that bar, Rebel Ranch. Thank you. Let's go, boys.
We had that.
Will's got a big opportunity coming up for him to invest. He's very lucky. You're a very lucky man to have even the opportunity. I'm happy for you.
See, that's the crazy part. I don't even fully understand the opportunity. Right. I'm hoping so.
You've invested with other things I've done.
What's up?
You've invested in other things I've done.
Do we get to talk about them?
No, we don't get to talk about it. You got to cut that out. That's crazy.
I was going to say,
you just invested in other things we've done.
Yeah, I know.
And how's that working out?
Seems good.
Yeah. You going to be all right, doggy. Hey, we always going to be all right.
Oh, we're always going to be all right.
But if you guys have a chance, go on Instagram, follow Rebel Ranch. I think we're up to like 1,400 followers. Not a big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah, we're kind of killing
I did a post on my story.
Blue check, here we come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So follow that. It's going to be dope. We're doing a big renovation June, July. Should be open next year in November. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, I did a shout out on my story.
I saw you.
Yeah.
I saw you, dog.
What's up, boss? On board.
Yeah, it's a bar.
It's a bar. Yeah, it's a bar in Cave Creek.
It's like a bar in Cave Creek.
Bar. It's
5,200 people, and on the weekends, like 100,000 people come up because everybody wants to be a cowboy. So you go up there. It's the only place in the world you'll find an old truck, a Ferrari, and a horse parked in the same parking lot. No mom and pop shops allowed.
Crisis.
What's that?
I said identity crisis.
Scottsdale people, man. They cruise up in their nice vehicles, get some dust on it.
Yeah.
They put their Kenny Chesney straw hat on, and they enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Live music, two-stepping, real country shit. Real country shit. We got an arena out there. They were going to buck some horses out there, do some barrel racing, some mutton busting for the kids.
Hey, now, don't sleep on the boy. You got a little roping gene in you.
Yeah, I've roped before, but I'm not a roper.
Come on now.
Hey, your boy can get it done.
Come on now.
I got you a couple times.
You dabble.
I got this rope out. I got this rope out, and I was like, hey, Will, just start walking.
Hey, I roped you a couple times. I wasn't even really following that part.
Yeah, Will started walking. I was like, hey, just walk. And I'd heal him, just snap him up real quick. Got him a couple times.
I'm like walking high. He's like, hey, pick your feet up a little bit. I'm like picking him up. We're just in a gravel parking lot. They had that shitty ice cream.
What shitty ice cream?
McDonald's McFlurries,
yeah, dude. Yes. Bro, talk about a fat kid story. We're cruising down from the creek back down to Paradise Valley. And Will's in a mood. He's like, let's get some ice cream. Will's in a mood for sure.
Will's in a mood.
So we're like, yeah. So there's Cold Stones. It closes in 25 minutes. It's a 30-minute drive.
Make us leave the bar early. I'm like, hey, we gotta
Fast and Furious Tokyo. Yeah. Minutes leave the bar early.
Taylor's dancing. Hey, 20 minutes. We got to go.
Yeah. You see this?
Yeah.
Shows me the closing soon sign on the maps. So I start cruising down the 101. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Get off. Get there. We get 4 minutes to fucking spare, dude. And Cold Stones is closed. Heartbreak Hotel. So I'm invested now. What are we going to do? We pop on the old phone, sit in the parking lot. What's open? Sonic. We start driving towards Sonic, and we see Mickey D's, and we're like, hey, when's the last time we had a McFlurry?
Gold arches, dude.
Those gold arches in the distance, dude, like a little oasis of ice cream. We do a quick U-turn, get in there. We order a couple burgers,
before you keep going, can I throw in a little?
Go ahead.
Taylor, like, yo, let's hit McDonald's. I don't really say much in the back because I got like is the ice cream machine broken?
You remember that?
What? Yeah, you guys were hype. Like, oh yeah, let's go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I don't know if their ice cream fucks like that, but I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to go.
Right.
So go ahead.
So we pull in there. The guy, you can tell on the little, hey, welcome to McDonald's. How can I help you? He's on that thing. And I'm like, yeah, give me a second. He just goes, all right. And kind of just waits. And I'm like, oh,
like
spit is going in these burgers, doggy.
Enjoy your job like Chick-fil-A and these other spots.
One place?
In and out.
Hey, Chick-fil-A is not a slapper. I'm just going to say it. Call me crazy.
Hang on. Don't do that.
I'm just going to say it out loud.
Let him finish the story before you just fucking throw.
All right, you're right.
That's some bullshit. We'll get to it, but that's some bullshit.
Chick-fil-A's not a slapper. Pause.
Yeah.
So we're at the McDonald's. We decide my boy over here is getting a quarter pounder with cheese. I'm a classic kid route guy. I haven't been to McDonald's in like 7 years. So I get 2 of the regular cheeseburgers with mac sauce on it. Kind of a hitter, right? Yeah, JPC is what I'm talking about back there. And we get the McFlurries. We look over at the McFlurry sign on the top right. It just says McFlurry and in small quotes, Oreo. That's all they got.
So this all the shit they got here?
Yeah. And I'm like, we'll take 3 large Oreo McFlurries. So we rip around the side.
Large. Remember the story.
Yeah. Takes a minute, dude. Not just 60 seconds, a minute, right? Because I'm trying to be cool and hip. The guy comes over. I give him my card. He gives me the burgers first, and we're waiting on these McFlurries. He tosses out the McFlurries. These bitches were in a thimble size, dude. They were this fucking big. 2 spoonfuls to finish.
I'm talking Dixie cup.
Hey, Will's all quiet in the back. I give him the McFlurry.
I wasn't really paying attention.
He's just over here looking around. And I give him the McFlurry, and you just see like his hand kind of creep up as I pass it back to him, and like grabs it and goes back into his little cave. And it's quiet for a second. He goes, yo, what the fuck is this? Mad as fuck. He goes, I just put this shit in my pocket. I'm done.
Bro, I'm not joking. Go and try and order a large McFlurry and you can fit that thing in your pocket. And the candy will say cookie because it's Oreo, but the cookie you put in there and they stir in, it's only on the surface.
Yeah.
After you get to the first.
It look full.
Yeah, it makes it look. Oh, this can be a banger. You're like, yeah, Taylor. I was so mad. Taylor goes, hey, Will, you can have mine too.
Yo, fell back. Yo, that's the shit. It's small as fuck, dude. The cap that goes on top of it is bigger than the cup. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous,
and you're
bro.
probably thinking while you're listening or watching, oh, it's all right. They probably put the ice cream up to the top of the cap. No, they fucking don't. It's to the brim of the lid. Tough. Fucking tough. So
I'm loving it. No one's fucking loving it.
No one's loving it, dude. No one's fucking loving that.
A couple, and he's not wrong. A couple bites and the cookie's gone. It's all vanilla ice cream at the bottom. It's a sham. It's a fucking sham. Which is
still fire, but like, yo, we're thick boys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We need a couple extra spoonfuls to make sure our belly is happy.
I ate my first half, put mine down, grabbed Taylor's, and ate her top half just because it had Oreo in it.
Yeah, that's it. So we decide, we get the burgers, everything. I don't even open up my burger. I'm fucking pissed. No. We put the shit in the corner like we're done with this. We go to Sonic. Pull up to Sonic. Hey, yo. Sonic's just casually selling foot-long wieners. Foot-long. Those hitters?
Foot-long conies, bro.
Foot-long pieces?
Deal of the week.
Foot-long glizzy. All day, every day.
You get the chili cheese?
You love them things, huh?
Oh, my God.
Bro, get the fuck out of here. You like those? How do you eat that not thing? Oh.
2 bites.
He looks like a foot-long glizzy, dude.
He said 2 bites. How do you, like...
He's throwing that glizzy.
You just grab it out of the wrapper, hold it with 2 hands like this and go, oh, tough. Like, you're thinking about yourself.
Grab a double?
Double hand like that,
Pro
but you got
player of the
cheese on top, so you got to hold like this, like you're kind of, and then you're just holding the tip.
You gotta tilt the head.
Yeah, this one's the real holder. You gotta tilt the head. He said, you gotta tilt the head on that thing. So they sell that. Me and Will spent about 6 to 7 minutes just laughing about that until we press the button to order, and then we get our shakes, and it was beast. I mean, Cold Stone would have just fixed it all if their employees were committed to their craft.
Yeah,
right.
Come on now.
4 minutes. And you can't just make me up a birthday cake remix like the boy wants?
I'm trying to get...
And I gotta have it, and if I'm feeling crazy, pint size? That's some wild shit, dude.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's give context now before you just slander that.
I'll give context right now. Shit's trash.
All right. Now...
That's my stance.
To put you guys... Because there's a lot of pissed off people right now driving their Chevy Silverados listening to this.
And they're closed on Sunday.
Yeah, it's God's day. Come on now.
Listen.
Yeah, everybody's at church.
Yeah, everyone's in church for a couple hours. And then you get out and you
feel like a hitter, like check the numbers, check the tape.
No, yeah, I'm sure. You
can be closed one day of the week and still crush it.
Bro, wasn't there a Chick-fil-A in Atlanta Stadium and it was just closed on Sundays?
Yeah. But
you're lying.
But hey, hang on, because people need to empathize where Taylor's coming from. Because
sweating over how much I don't like Chick-fil-A.
He got it every time they had the game. Yeah. Every time they had a game, their post-game meal was like Chick-fil-A.
No, it wasn't a post-game meal. Every time we flew, even now, for the last 8 years, every time we fly, they have Chick-fil-A in there. After a while, the smell gets to you.
Right. It's just
You're
catered
seeing a tin
Chick-fil-A,
can
bro. You're not getting that
You got
fresh.
the soggy sandwich or the little chicken sandwich or whatever, and you got the nuggies. Now, I will give you this Chick-fil-A. I love the variety of sauces y'all have. And I'm talking to you guys as if you guys are now employers of Chick-fil-A. I don't fuck with it because of my situation and being on that plane all the time. It just smells to me now.
I think you need
I
to
make hitter milkshakes though.
but
Hitters.
I still think you need to not say it's fucking trash because you haven't had a real experience at Chick-fil-A.
I have. When I was in high school, I used to go to
We're
Chick-fil-A
talking
and
high
loved
school.
it.
Your taste buds are a lot different back in high school. Your brain's not even that developed either.
So now that my brain's fully developed, I can say it's
Yeah, you
trash
can make a
and move on.
rational, more mature decision about it.
Yeah, and
Can you bring up the stats? We're talking Chick-fil-A, bro. Number 3 on the list. They rank number 3 with 2,500 franchise
Yo,
units.
how the fuck is McDonald's number 1, dude?
Because like they got 13,000 units, bro.
That's tough.
Damn, Subway's out there with 22,000. Just
I thought
Eight
Subway
spot.
kind of fell off a little bit. I thought Subway was kind of gone. Like you go in and grab a sub, you gotta put some fragrances in there or something. Like put a lavender candle up because when you walk in there, you walk out, you smell like Subway for the rest of the day.
they
And everybody, yeah, it's tough.
Subway
Hitters-
was
hitter sub
Subway was
shop,
a hitter back
hitter?
in the day.
Quiznos, probably the best one.
I thought Subway was so good back
Bro,
in the day.
back in high school,
Yeah.
no question.
Murdered Subway. I'd come out to the city and people would be talking about their little delis and
Sweet onion
local
chicken
sauce. I'm like,
teriyaki.
yes.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Mine too.
No way.
Swear to God.
I love that, dude. That was my favorite thing.
They
by
had to
far.
lay low. It seems like they fell off. They had to lay low a little bit after the whole Jared thing.
Yeah, but like they're not the one doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But that was your front runner.
Yeah. Speaking of front runners, how about the Verizon guy selling out for Sprint now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Love that.
So
Just
can you
business,
hear me
dude.
now, guy?
Yeah.
And he like kind of shits on Verizon without saying Verizon.
Yeah.
But anyway,
How long have we been doing this intro? We should probably
wrap her up.
get to the KJ episode.
All right. That's cool. I'm just happy I got to be a part of it.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
thought you weren't going to get to yesterday. You had your little Preds thing. which
Yeah.
I hope that thing's going to be sick. Oh, Taylor's got a little video coming out because they're doing a little outdoor game.
Yeah, that should come out next Monday, right? 6 days from now. And let me tell you something, dude. If the Predators they're good at editing and shifting things around, my acting skills are gonna look fucking insane. They're gonna be outstanding. But if they're not good at editing, I'm gonna get exposed.
Really?
And I'm stoked. I'm stoked regardless. I like
JP
doing
have
it.
it on film?
I don't know.
He's got it on
Yeah.
film, but like, you know, it's like not the real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the
we
focus
can show the
camera.
good stuff, the funny stuff.
It really wasn't like Johansson and Saros were kind of the ones that like really didn't want to fucking be there. But you know how it is when you're in the season,
Locked in.
you're locked in, like you don't want to be doing this extra stuff. It's gonna
All
be
ball.
cool. And for me, as a fan of the Predators and like being a part of like the Nashville community, like that was dope. I chugged a beer for Catfish one time, like, hey, we want you to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest games. So super stoked on that. Super stoked. But anyway, KJ Wright. Outstanding.
Yeah, he was awesome. Anybody who's tuned in from the Seattle Raiders, all of it, they're going to fucking love listening to KJ. Soft-spoken dude. Monster. He's a stud. He's a top 100 player. He talks about being pissed off in free agency because he didn't have a phone call all the way until August. We're talking about a top 100
Which is
player.
wild.
Yes, bro. But he gets into all that, his frustrations about the process, anxieties with playing football, being a free agent. We compare our little free agent stories. He's like, man, what was your, because he was talking about not getting called. He's like, oh, my other one was even worse, or my other one was just as bad. He goes, I didn't get called my first free agency either. And we kind of got into it. And I go, so when did you get a call in the first free agency? He was like, oh, they called me on the third day. And I was like, yo, you're still in the first wave.
Yeah.
Like you just didn't get called on day one. But
That mindset, dude.
yeah, he's got some like stoic. He's a football guy, dude. He's
Love
all
that.
backer. He just wants to tackle motherfuckers, and can't say what he's doing after football because he didn't want it to be on the pod. We talk about him playing with Bobby Wagner.
Fire?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's part of ball. Like he's all ball, bro. Like you'll hear it. I'm sitting here. I'm trying to get him to think about playing. Like here's how you handle in the back end of your career. Because he goes, I'm not going to play anywhere if I got to wait till training camp. Or anything like that. I'm like, well, let me try to tell you about the other side of it. Like wait until right before you come on the roster, you get guaranteed and you just kind of play the game. And he was just so like, he respects and loves the game so much. I'm sitting there and I'm low-key like feeling bad that I was trying to even change his mind because I'm like, yo, this dude loves the game. But we asked about Russell Wilson, a lot of fun stuff. But you guys will like it. Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the YouTube right now. Tell them to subscribe to the
subscribe
YouTube.
to the YouTube. Listen, you guys are blowing up right now. It is becoming something special. So if you want to get on the train, well, it's still a little smaller of a train, but we're adding a lot of those little deals in the back. I don't know what they're called, but the caboose is way down the line in the future. You don't want to be a part of the caboose. Get part of that meat and potatoes in the middle.
Yeah. Can we get a moment of silence? Bussin' With The Boys, best podcast in the world. Thank you. KJ Wright. And shout out the boys at Cross Country Mortgage. No free shout outs. The great thing about hanging with your boys or girls is you get a lot of different POVs, not the kind of point of views about mortgage lending. Every time they always have the answers for you. Cross Country Mortgage comes in, whatever you're debating, whether a new home, a second home, or refinancing, they have everything to cover everyone. And they close on an average in just a mind-boggling 21 days. Not 4 weeks, not 5 weeks, not 6 weeks, not 2 months. We're talking a nice 21 days. Cross Country Mortgage has a team of loan officers dedicated to getting it done and finding you the best possible loan terms available. With huge variety of products, they cover everything from renovations to refis and everything in between. Take it from a couple of the boys who don't always agree on everything. Cross Country Mortgage is the best mortgage company in the world, and they are dedicated to getting it done for you. Go to crosscountrymortgage.com/barstool so Cross Country Mortgage can take care of you through the home buying process. Cross Country Mortgage, LLC, NMLS 3029, all loans subject to underwriting approval, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Rolling? All right. We got a KJ Wright on the bus. I know KJ Wright. Honestly, first time meeting you was over social media, Twitter. Yeah. You had a video that you posted that we'll get to in a little bit. Play with you on the Raiders for 5 weeks. It was a great 5 weeks. I'm sure you're like, how's this dude just like buddy with everybody?
Yeah.
Because we hadn't known each other at all.
Yeah.
But what you came to Nashville just to do this?
I came to Nashville just for you.
My man.
Yeah.
You live where?
I live in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Born in Memphis, but I'm like 3 hours away.
So you're where'd you fly from?
I flew from Seattle. I took a red eye.
So you took a red eye here, landed in Nashville. It's 9 a.m. right now. I'm proud. Number one.
Yeah.
Hey, a round of applause for the boys for being here at 9 a.m. This is our earliest.
What time we usually go?
Bro, not until the afternoon. Yeah. This is our earliest pod we've ever done, 9 a.m. in the morning. So shout out the boys. So you took a red eye, landed at 8, here at 9, and then after this, you're gonna drive to Memphis?
Yeah, drive home.
I appreciate you, bro.
You're the homie, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Dog, there's a lot to unpack that I'm curious to talk to you about because what year did you just finish? 10?
I finished 11.
You just finished 11. That's fucking awesome, man. That's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, knock on wood, man.
Yeah.
Bro, you just finished year 11. You're somebody I've obviously watched for the entirety of my career.
Mm-hmm.
The way you guys would play certain styles of cover 3, rat coverage, cover 1. You covering running backs out on the outside, which always blew my mind because I'm like, why isn't KJ's the bigger motherfucker? Yeah. Why isn't Bobby or somebody? Yeah, why isn't he going out there and doing it? But our coach is always Kirk Olivedati. He was always a big fan of your game too. So we would legitimately like watch you guys and watch your concepts, how you guys did. Like watch Bobby play rat here. Watch him playing between the hashes. Ray was a big fan of showing Bobby playing between the hashes and everything.
Yeah.
But bro, 11 years, man. And you just finished with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
You were a top 100 player last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you went through a very high and low offseason.
More lows than high.
Yeah.
More lows than high.
Talk about that, because you were with Seattle for a decade.
Yeah.
And again, a top 100 player.
Yeah.
I think you finally got your flowers because I think you've been...
Should have been at it.
Right.
Should have been at it.
Yeah, you've been somebody... with Bobby, you've had Bobby there, and obviously everybody knows about Bobby Wagner. He's been like an all-pro every year. But you're somebody like us watching the tape. You're somebody that's always, you're right there next to him.
Yeah.
But you never seem to get your flowers until this past year. Talk about ending your decade in Seattle and why you're so frustrated this past offseason.
Yeah, so I put together a very, very, in my eyes, a Ring of Honor career. I just did, got the Super Bowls, got the Pro Bowls, almost got 1,000 tackles in Seattle.
I saw that, bro.
I'm like 7, 8 away. But anyway, So yeah, just had a stellar career and cracked the top 100 for the first time, number 67. But if you look at that list, I'm the only guy that was a free agent.
Right.
So I'm like, how the hell did I put together this really good career, first of all, put together this really good year 10, and don't nobody want me?
Because it also came out, you were even injured in 19 and you bounced back.
Yeah, I got hurt in 18, and I had 2 really good years, back to back, really good years. Then they drafted linebacker first round, and I was like, oh shit. So you can kind of see the writing on the wall. I never had anybody drafted first round in my position, but we all know when a guy gets drafted, your spot, something's about to happen. Either you about to get benched, cut, or about to rotate in and out. And so I didn't have any guarantees on that year. So if they would let me go, I wouldn't have had no money. And so going to that, have a fantastic year 10 and free agency hit. And I'm like, oh, it's a freaking no-brainer. Like somebody about to pick me up and I'm about to either come back to Seattle or a team just gonna want me. And when I tell you that my phone was dry, like I got 0 phone calls.
Are you for real?
0. Seattle didn't call me. Cowboys, Rams, Niners, nobody called
Nobody
me.
even inquired.
No. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I'm like, at first I just waited and I hit my agent like what is going on? And he said, it's just the first wave. There's nothing out there. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
But you should, like, you're somebody, and I understand the whole wave process, but you're somebody who
I thought it was
be in the first
day.
wave.
I was like, I gotta be a first day dude. Like, what are they looking at? What are they thinking? And bro, when I said that's like the top 3 like lowest I've ever been in like my NFL career, like the sadness and the stress and the anxiety that I had was like, nothing could describe it.
How are you dealing with it?
Man, well, thank God I got, I'm married, wife, 3 kids. And so I have my family, have my support system. I was training with the fellas, going to Tracy Ford and Bellevue, Washington, just staying around people. And I was in my word. I was praying and meditating daily. Because if I didn't have that, I would have lost my freaking mind.
Yeah.
And bro, it's just went through the first wave. Other teams like wait till the draft. That went by. OTAs went by, training camp went by, and it was nothing.
Were the Raiders the first one
to call me?
Yeah.
No, the Niners were the first to call me. It's funny. John Lynch called me. He's like, KJ, what's up, man? I see you're still a free agent. I was like, yeah, you know this? And he's like, man, we'd love to get you out here. We'd love to get you out here, man. We've always watched you. We thought it was a no-brainer that you would sign with Seattle. That's what he said. And I was like, yeah, that didn't happen. And so, yeah, man, want to come out here and get a visit in? And that went by. And so.
You went out and visited?
I never visited. He
just mentioned it, but they didn't follow up with.
He's like, I'm going to talk to Shanahan. And Shanahan, they said Shanahan's on board. And long story short, vet minimum was offered.
Disrespectful.
And I'm like, there's no way that KJ Wright name would be signed next to a vet minimum contract. I put together too good of a resume to do that. I just retire, live off the money that I made. And that didn't fall through. And then Gus Bradley calls me when I was sitting on the deck. Gus Bradley, defensive coordinator for the Raiders. He called me, he's like, KJ, what's up? It's like, what up, Gus? I'm free as a bird. And Gus, flew me out there for a visit with the Raiders. And yeah, signed a few weeks later.
What'd you think about the opportunity you were presented with the Raiders? Because Denzel had just gotten traded out there, right?
Yeah.
So going out there knowing that they kind of had a little bit of a depth chart put together, what was your...
I was confused why the Raiders was calling me. I was like, why do the Raiders want me? They got Denzel, got Corey Littleton, Nick Kwiatkowski.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do they want me? But Nick Morrow had got hurt.
Right.
I didn't realize Nick got hurt. Nick got hurt and Japham was hurt. And so it was an auto position that was open for me. And Gus called me. He's like, hey, we got a spot open for you. What you think? You won't be an every down backer. And I was like... And so, yeah, at that point, I just wanted to get in the camp because it was week 1 of the regular season.
You got to get on week 1 because once you
your salary's guaranteed.
Salary's guaranteed.
And I missed all the training camp, all the OTAs, and I just signed week 1 and I played in like 6 days against the Ravens.
Yeah.
the
Fortunately, he's got that cover 3 system.
Yeah.
That you can pick up on. But you also posted that video in training camp where you took to Twitter and you shot a video. What made you want to shoot that video?
Man, just the one you had retweeted.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let the world know, like, in the midst of like my adversity, in the midst of my sadness, like, no matter what anyone is going through in this world, it's important that through it all you stay positive. And it's important that you don't let your spirits get so down. And so in the midst of what I was going through, I was still working my ass off. I was still preparing. I was still watching film because I knew that something was going to fall through. And so I could have been in my feelings, just eating like shit and not training and all that stuff. But I prepared like I was going to be a week 1 starter. And so I just wanted to just put that out there and let people know, like, no matter what you're going through, just keep working. Then you had retweeted and got, it spread a little more. And so I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, you're KJ Wright. I think everybody in Seattle was pretty curious. Like, I'm sure you posted something like that because you heard and was seeing a lot of people kind of questioning what was happening, and you wanted to do that on your own because sure, I guess maybe a few more people saw it, but I mean, everybody was so curious as to why you hadn't been signed.
Yeah.
Because Pete Carroll, he was doing press conferences and stuff saying like, oh, I think he was alluding to that you guys were in conversation and the door is still open.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like that was true at all.
He said the door was still open. It's like, KJ, love to have you back.
It's a big negotiating chess game.
Yeah, but the only way that I would have came back was if the guys, if their plan didn't work, right? Because they went to a new scheme, they want to put new people in there. He's like, essentially, the only way you're coming back is if this plan doesn't look good,
right? Because there were a couple of young guys that they had drafted by now, right? There's that first rounder, and then there was another guy, right?
Second rounder.
A second rounder.
Yeah.
So they're planning for, you and Wags to, like, at some point these guys, like, it's gonna start to decline. We got to prepare for the future.
Yeah, and so I just had this little glimpse of hope, and when it came down to it, when it came down to sign with the Raiders, I called Pete. I said, Pete, I got this offer on the table. I really don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. I want to stay in Seattle. Is there anything we could do? I'll take a lesser role. I understand you want to play Jordan. I'll come off the field. What can we do so I stay in Seattle?
Because you're embedded in Seattle. You want to be there.
Yeah. And he's like, God, KJ. Pete, he's like, God, KJ, this, I hate this. Let me talk to John, the GM, and let's see if we can get something done.
Yeah. Would you have signed? Would you have played for vet? Would you have signed vet minimum?
At that point?
At that point, to stay in Seattle, knowing that the Raiders had just offered you a contract. When you call Pete and you're like, hey, I'll do this.
No, I wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have?
I wouldn't have.
They would have had to compete a little bit?
If the Raiders offered me vet minimum and the Seahawks offered me vet minimum, I would have left.
You would have left Seattle?
Yeah.
On both vet minimum?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because my pride, my ego.
But the Raiders had offered you and you called Pete and said, hey, man, what the Raiders offer you was like, was it $5 million?
It got up to 5.
Up to 5.
Up to 5.
So the Raiders offer you up to 5. You choose to call Pete and say, is there anything we can do?
Uh-huh.
But what are you looking for when you say, is there anything? Are you looking for that higher than the 5? Or you wouldn't have, if they offered you a 1 for 5, you wouldn't have stayed in Seattle?
If they offered me 5, I would have stayed in Seattle.
But why, if they're both vet minimum, would you have left Seattle if they're both the same?
Because, first of all, both offers are dog shit. But I would have.
I love it, dude. We got an elite linebacker on this motherfucker. He's just like.
But I would have had to leave because my ego would have been like, KJ, first of all, what you're going to give Seattle is miraculously you're going to be on the field a lot. And the leadership that I bring in that locker room, the presence that I bring, they would have gotten millions out of me. And so I'm not going to give this organization another year of this. I'd rather just leave and start over and bless with another organization what I bring to the table. So to hell with coming back for vet minimum, I just leave and go do it somewhere else.
I got you.
And so, yeah.
Do you feel, you're obviously very passionate. I fucking love it. It's juicing me up right now, dude. Do you feel like you feel established enough, obviously, to say those things, but you also know this knowing how many of your teammates had your back, because Bobby was out there probably every week saying something. You could allude to the same passion that he had. Like you're shining like through him.
Yeah.
Do you feel kind of that respect with all your teammates that you have in Seattle?
I feel complete respect from my teammates, complete respect from the fans. And everybody had my back. Like, I literally got tweeted every day from fans, why isn't KJ signed? They would tag the Seahawks, tag KJ, at Pete Carroll, what are we doing here? Why isn't KJ signed? Bring him back. And that was literally all off season. And so I felt that love from the people because I gave the city everything I had.
Yeah.
I gave these people every ounce in my body. And some stuff just doesn't make sense.
Like what?
Organization-wise, like, how and why do you let me leave the building when I'm willing to take a lesser role, when I'm willing to still give you all that I got? Like, why?
Right.
It don't make sense to me, and especially when I extend the olive branch and saying, can we work something out? And so it was...
Ultimately, you know... and I agree with you.
Yeah.
I fucking agree 100% with you. And I think it's got to be, the answer just has to be it's above everybody else in that building, right? Or no?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. Pete
actually probably maybe wanted you back. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But let's just say in this instance, like he might have, right?
Yeah.
But like an owner or GM or somebody is just, the whole
we got to go in this direction.
Right, the whole cutthroat business part of it. Like it's like, with the Raiders, everybody knew that Gruden had 51% and Mayock had 49%.
Yeah.
So Gruden would kind of have the final say and stuff, and he had control of the roster. I don't know Pete's contract and situation, but maybe he was somebody who wanted you.
Yeah.
Understood that whatever the GM was saying. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's like that's just the bullshit part of the business that happens.
And I get it. 10 years is a very long time.
Oh, it's an anomaly, bro. Like the average career is 3.3 or something like that. 3.5 years. We'll just say 3 years. The average career is 3 years. We're talking about guys bouncing around.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you get to play out your full contract as a rookie with a team and then re-sign to that team again.
Yeah.
Because if you play well enough, you're probably going to go to the market unless you're somebody who knows I'm going to sign before I get to the market. I'm going to take a hometown discount because I want to be here.
Yeah.
Then you play out. How long was your second deal?
It's 4 years.
4 years. Another 4 years.
Yeah.
And then you sign another 2-year deal after you and Wags established that you guys are the best duo in the league.
Yeah.
Then you re-sign that 2-year deal. Then you get to the end of that 2-year deal. And obviously, like you were saying, you signed that 2-year deal that year after you had just ended getting hurt. That kind of plays another favor. Oh, he's hurt. Now we can offer him, a more of a lower amount.
They got me, man. They got me.
They got you. Were you upset about the 2-year you signed, or you just kind of had nothing else to do?
I didn't even tell you about that one. The first time I hit free agency, nobody called me that time either.
After your rookie deal, or are you talking
after
about
my 4-year deal?
Okay.
I tore my knee, and but I thought my career was in jeopardy.
ACL?
No, bro. I was warming up against the Vikings preseason, and I was just shuffling. I just felt a tweak in my knee. I'm like, what the hell was that? I played the game, and I got an MRI the next day, bro. It was a big, thick piece of cartilage that was missing from the inside of my knee. I said, like, Kedge, you got to get surgery. So I'm bone on bone in this knee. And but what happened throughout the season was my knee kept swelling. Like I never. The thing was like fat as ever. And I played with that all year. And then all the offseason, my knee was still swelling.
Are you having to get like fluid removed all the time?
I had to get it removed, bro. I did stem cells. I was doing Regenicon, PRP. Nothing was working.
Damn.
And then by the grace of God, like it finally came around and I was able to keep playing. It don't give me any problems now. So that's what happened. That's what happened that first free agency, because everybody knew about my knee. And nobody called me that first time either.
The first time, meaning you just finished your 8 years?
I just finished, going on year 9.
Going on year 9. Nobody had called you. And then Seattle came in late and offered, was able to get you.
It was the third day of free agency.
Oh, third day of free agency?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not, hey, come on, no. That's not nobody calls you. Maybe the first 2 days nobody called you, but you still in the back half of the wave one.
I was stressed.
Why were you so stressed?
because I've never been in that position. I've never been in that position to where I feel like I wasn't a part of the team. I'm free.
Right.
And then I saw the other guys getting signed. You know, their first 2 waiver period, guys can, sign verbally.
Mm-hmm.
And it was happening, nobody was calling me.
Yeah. How do you feel like, what do you feel like those times of like uncertainty and anxiety was teaching you? Because I hear you say those things, and we're obviously way different careers. Like you've had, not to shit on the boys' career. I've loved my career and I love my story, but I'm saying I haven't been in your shoes to where I'm feeling anxiety. Like nobody called me either, Comp. And I'm like, damn, how long was it? You're like day 3. And I'm like, fuck, what the fuck, dude? Like, we got different, anxiety. Yeah, we got like different anxiety. The first time I went through free agency, teams were inquiring right before that, free agency opened, right? Like the Bengals and Bills and teams were inquiring. So you're like excited. So when nothing's happening and you see guys getting signed, you're like, man, when's my time coming? But speak about those anxieties and what you learned in those times of like feeling shitty about yourself.
Yeah, I just think that like I believe that was the first time in my adulthood life that I really experienced it. From the standpoint of like, I couldn't sleep good at night. I was having like these headaches. And like, I was just stressed all the time. And I believe that I had to find avenues to release that. I had to find avenues to release that. And for me, what was therapeutic for me was talking to people. I talked to my mentor, Jonathan Rainey. I talked to my wife. I talked to my friends, just getting it out there how I was feeling. And just being comforted by people. That's what God blesses with people, just to lean on them. And so for me, that was something that I had to tap into, was people around me, so I could just get that shit out of my system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
It was not easy.
No, yeah.
How long have you been? How long were you a free agent? How long did you have experience?
I've had my first time after my 5 years with Washington. Washington started off free agency talking to my agent saying, hey, we have a deal on the table for Will. Mm-hmm. He's not going to want to accept it, but just, let us know, keep us in the loop throughout free agency. That essentially meant my agent was like, they're offering you a minimum deal and they're going to wait and see what happens with you. And so the Bengals, the Bills, maybe Chicago inquired in that during the first wave, but my agent had already prepared me. He's like, hey, you're probably going to be like a second wave guy, blah, blah, blah. Here's how it's going to shake out. Unless Washington has something for you that's above minimum to compete with. So I had to stay patient through that. And then Preston Brown. Do you remember Preston Brown?
Linebacker, yeah.
Yeah, linebacker.
Tigers, right?
Right. Oh, no, you're thinking of Zach Brown. Preston Brown and Zach Brown were both on the Bills and led the league in tackles. Yeah. Preston went on to sign a big deal with Cincinnati. A bigger deal. Like I want to say it was like $16 million.
Yeah.
When Preston signed that deal with Cincinnati and left the Bills, within that same hour, the Bills called. So when the Bills called, I flew out to the Bills, and this is actually a crazy story. I go out to Buffalo, and I'm doing all the MRIs and doing all this stuff. And it was like me and Kevin Minter out there. Mm-hmm. And we're doing all of our MRIs, and I had like a spinal cord concussion. Sounds way worse than it actually is. I swear. And you have like stinger issues, right? And so I was getting a C-spine MRI. And I got an MRI, and they found a white mass in my head, in my cerebellum.
Really?
Yes. And so when I got done with that MRI, I go back to the facility with Buffalo. Like I'm meeting with the coach. I'm sitting there with the linebacker coach. We're going over all the defenses. Mm-hmm. I met with Coach Frazier, the D coordinator. Yeah. Awesome, by the way. He seemed like he's a blast to play for. Yeah. But we're going over a lot of stuff like how I break down my notes, the personnel, each day, what am I breaking down starting throughout the week? He's taking me through all that stuff. And I feel like I'm doing awesome. Yeah. And so I'm sitting in the meeting with the linebacker coach, and we're going over everything and watching tape. They come in, the trainer comes in and goes, hey, can we borrow Will for a minute? So they take me over to the training room, and they're like, they got my MRI up on the board, and they're like, do you see what we're looking at right now? Do you see that white mass in the bottom of your head? And I was like, yeah, like, what is that? And they're like, you could tell he was like stepping on eggshells. And he goes, Will, we're not talking about playing football anymore. We're talking about your life. And I was like, what? And they're like, we don't necessarily know. Like, you see how the lines around here isn't defined and circular, and you can't like see a contrast here and there. It's kind of like up in the air. Like, we think you could have a tumor, like a brain tumor. Wow. And I was like, I kind of just sat there. No emotion hadn't hit me yet or nothing like that. Not until I called my dad and was talking to him about it. But he's like, we can treat you out here. We can have you go see our neurosurgeon out here. But we think you probably would want to be around family, like when you're going through this. And I'm thinking, wow, it's not hitting me in the head. I'm just like, I mean, whatever works. I'm like, you really think it's that serious? He's like, I don't know, because I'm not a neuro surgeon, but I can't identify what this is. Like I usually have some kind of grasp. And I'm like, fuck, man. So I hit up Washington. Washington was phenomenal to me. The lead doctor there, Dr. West, I called her and she was like, oh, right when you land, they flew me out. I shook the linebacker coach's hand in Buffalo, and they're like, we got to wait and see what happens. Because it seemed like I was going to walk out with some offer. Yeah. And they're like, we can't offer you. We got to see what happens with this, which I understood. I fly back to Washington that night. I go in and get a brain MRI, the one where they put like the fluid or the contrast in the IV so it can show all the color and everything can kind of light up. And the MRI neurologist, whatever that stuff's called. What's a radiologist? A neuroradiologist. I go upstairs. As I'm going upstairs and I'm on the phone with Dr. West, she's kind of talking to me about options. She's like, we don't know what it is. So like, let's just wait to see what it is. Blah, blah. I get off the phone with her. And then as I'm waiting to go upstairs to talk to this radiologist, the assistant comes, hey, he's ready to talk to you. And I'm walking up there and I'm outside of this dude's door, the radiologist's door. He's on the phone with Dr. West. He's like, yeah, I think we're looking at like a grade something like tumor. Like we're going to have to probably get this removed immediately. As I'm walking in the room. Yeah. And he goes, hey, he's here. I'll call you back. He gets off the phone and I'm like, hey, Doc, what's up, man? I was like, I don't want to make this awkward. I just heard what you said. Like, let's just get right to it. And he goes, Will, what you're looking at is, he was, a lot of verbiage of like a tumor and how it's cancerous. And we would need to get it removed and look at it in a lab to see how dangerous this could be for you. And I'm like, fuck, man. And I'm just kind of sitting there, kind of like doing what I'm doing now. I'm kind of just gazing, kind of like shaking my head. And he was like, if we had to remove this, like everything should go well. Like it's nothing that where you're like, life is in jeopardy. We just got to get it removed so your life isn't in jeopardy. And he goes, well, once we get it removed, you could get what's called like some steel plate or something like that, and you can probably be back. I was like, hey, Doc, man, if I got something wrong with my brain and I got to get it removed and I got to put a fucking titanium adamantium plate in my fucking head, like it's not worth going back to the Oklahoma drill right away. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be done playing football. It's all good. Like we'll figure this out. Just tell me what I need to know, and it's all good, man. And he's like, all right, well, when you leave here, call Dr. West. She'll talk to you about options. I called Dr. West. She was like, let's wait until the neurosurgeon sees it tomorrow. We're sending it to all these people over in Europe, these people in the US, blah, blah, blah. They're taking good care of me. Dr. West was taking good care of me as far as like distributing the MRI everywhere. And he's like, he is a radiologist, a neuroradiologist, so he doesn't fully know the answer. A neurosurgeon will. And so I'm basically up all night, as you can assume. And I was like, I told my dad, and I was like, don't tell mom yet, because I don't want her all up in arms and everything else. I didn't tell my wife at the time. And the next morning, the neurosurgeon calls, and he's like, Will, I'm sure you've been stressing all night. This is not a tumor. This is a cyst that I believe has been in your brain since birth, since you were young. He goes, when I look back to the old MRIs of your Redskin days, I can see the white mass in there. They must not have saw it or caught it, and obviously didn't bring it to your attention. And because I had an MRI history, obviously. And I was like, damn, it's kind of crazy that, they didn't, because you heard all the stuff that happened with Trent Williams and his brain and everything else, his head. And so you're like, damn, how do they miss something like that? And he's like, it can be easy to miss. He's like, he was kind of just alluding to it. I am surprised that they missed it, but it is something that can be easily missed. And he goes, but I am very confident. He's like, obviously we can't look at your brain the way it was when you were little. He's like, but this is something that could be pediatric, something that is in your head. We just got to monitor every 6 months and make sure it doesn't grow to like affect your balance and everything else. So that's my first free agency story. A week later, not even a week, a couple days go by, and that's when the Titans called my agent. Hey, what happened with Will out in Buffalo? And they're like, something had to be up because he didn't, you know, nothing. There's no communication that's went on. There's no headlines about any rumors of him signing. And, you know, Neil, he was just, you know, being an agent. So I don't really know what all he was saying. He's like, well, we'd like to fly him out here. I fly out here to Tennessee. I talk with them. We go over all the scans and everything else. And, you know, Todd Torricelli was like, you know, you'll be fine. Like, we got to, hopefully you don't leave the building type of thing. And my agent calls Buffalo, and Buffalo's like, based on what our doctors have been saying, we feel confident on where we're at, so we're not going to offer him anything. Just keep us in the loop if this continues to go forward.
Yeah.
They didn't offer me any more than like a minimum, I believe.
Yeah.
But I had signed with the Titans, and that was kind of my first. I was like a second wave, beginning a third wave at that time. Then I had my 1 year with the Titans. When I'm on with the Titans, they drafted Rashaan Evans in the first round in the spot that I'm competing with. So I already, like you were saying earlier, I already knew what time it was.
Writing on the wall.
Yeah, I already knew what time it was. He was going to play no matter how good of a preseason or training camp I had or OTAs and none of that stuff. But, and then the next year, that was only a 1 year deal. And then the next year is when we kind of started busting with the boys. I was kind of contemplating like, this might be it because I didn't get a chance to play at all. Like I didn't get a chance to put anything on tape as a linebacker. I was a backup and starter. And, you know, fortunately for like Rashaan and everybody else, in my situation, you would need somebody to get hurt to get on the field.
Right.
Nobody had gotten hurt that year. So the next year I knew that I wasn't going to be like, I was going to be a vet minimum guy. It's going to be somebody who if the team knew of me, they already knew like what I was going to bring to the table. So it was going to be a 1 year minimum. And I was going to skip OTAs and training camp and try to get on before week 1.
Yeah.
That's when I went with the Saints. I was just there for a cup of coffee. I caught an ankle sprain in the 4th preseason game. I got there 48 hours before the 3rd game.
And you played
in it.
Yeah.
Played solid. They moved me up to 1 base, and they were going to continue to knock the rust off of me so I could get ready for week 1 because their starter head went down. And then I hurt my ankle, so I already figured they waived me on an injury settlement. I got that taken care of, and then that's when I signed with the Raiders in 19. Finished out that year, got to play some games.
Yeah.
Was on the Titans, and then back to the Raiders this past year. So after that first year of free agency, I kind of already knew where I would be labeled or what bucket I would be in. The only time I figured I might be able to get something is after I played for the Raiders. But then that COVID year hit. And it seems like it messed up a lot of free agency. Not that I would have got a lot of money or anything, but I was like, if there's a chance for me to not make minimum, this would be a 1 year case where I would probably
that's
make
when
it.
I came out COVID year and the salary shrunk, which still baffles me to this day. Because you remember when they announced the salary cap went down, they announced a big TV deal.
Right.
That the NFL was going up. So it's like, how does salary cap go down, but more money comes about?
And that's when we were negotiating as players against the league, our new CBA.
What did you vote?
I voted against going into like a lockout. I wanted us not to sign into the deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanted to know.
Yes.
Good.
I didn't want to.
My bad.
Yeah. No, we're at the thing and Sherm's talking and you've been around Sherm a lot. Were you at that same? Were you at the meetings in Miami?
Yeah. That's right. When COVID happened, like COVID was going on.
The owners gave us a deadline right after our meeting.
Yeah.
And COVID ultimately happened and kind of played it like there's a lot of fear mongering going on.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there trying to tell Sherm because Sherm's arguing the same thing for us.
Yeah.
But we're like 50-50 with the players. And it's like, bro, we're arguing about the dumbest shit. They're creating this deadline just to make it seem like we got to make a decision right now.
And bro, what they was doing, you saw like the narratives that like they were putting out there. Like, oh, there'll be no more marijuana testing or failures and guys will get more money. It was like the
$100,000. They were saying we will give guys $100,000, and you know the majority of the NFL, those guys who are in that 3-year average range, those young guys who are not around long are going to take that $100,000 because they think that's what we need this.
Yeah, and then what they fail to realize, they're adding an extra game, they're adding an extra playoff team. Like guys don't realize like the amount of volume that's going to be taken. Like careers are going to be even more shortened because we're adding more stuff to our bodies.
Right.
And so, bro, like guys, like everybody signed yes, and you saw
barely.
How close was it?
It was like, do you guys remember? It was like 51-49.
It was close.
It was like
some guys didn't vote.
So a lot of guys did. Yeah, some guys didn't vote, which is a nice handful.
Yeah,
but it was like I want to say maybe 300 votes, or I might be butchering.
It was that close,
but it was that close.
Haven't gone back. What were those
in the NFLPA rooms, to me, not a lot was getting done. It wanted to get done, but we have a lot of player like.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's so many voices. It's like so many opinions. This guy's think this. There's so many guys making, $15+ million. Then you got the guys making $1 million. It's like, this is how I feel, but this is how you should feel. And it's just a lot of guys.
A lot of guys trying to talk in the big room, then you break up into the micro rooms. And that's where like, if I had something to say, I would wait till a micro room. Because in the big rooms, like, everyone's trying to peacock a little bit. Some guys are talking to their own personal matters. Like, some dudes are wanting to call out people that are on the board because, hey, that was wild too. That always going down. But some people are wanting to call out dudes on the board and check them and kind of look like, I remember when Pouncey was calling out
Don Davis.
Yeah, Don Davis.
But
there's just a lot of like yelling going on.
Tell that.
It's hard to just dive into. I don't really remember what was said because a lot of stuff's moving so fast. But I remember sitting back being like, this is so fucking stupid because we're not talking about actual matters that we need to be talking about. Like, to me, Sherm would say a lot of good stuff, and Sherm would be somebody I would try and like introduce myself to and talk to around in the hallways because he's very rational. Like, he's a very smart dude.
Yeah.
He's like he agents and negotiates his own deals. I don't know how great it actually is for him compared to what an agent would do, but he's a very smart cat who talks calmly, tries not to yell. And a lot of guys are in there trying to fucking stand up and yell.
Yeah.
And it's just like so dumb. And then my ass, we're in the micro stuff. I'm like, boys, we got to storm the fucking beach, man. Like, we got to hold off because we got long snappers or guys who are on practice squad that are there. Not that they shouldn't be there because I was a P squad guy and I was somebody who rallied for like, we got to make sure practice squad years can count for guys eventually. But there were like P squad guys that was like, man, I'm going to vote agree to the deal because, man, I need a job. And it's like, bro, it's way bigger than
that.
Yeah, it's bigger than you, bro.
Bigger than that. And but every CBA, like I hear the same stories. It's just so many voices, so many opinions. And we just end up falling for it, and the owners end up winning every time.
To me, the issue is when we have our NFLPA meetings during the season, guys don't necessarily care to be there because it's after practice. The NFLPA reps are there. They're going through stuff. A lot of guys don't give a shit. They want to know about their Madden check.
Yeah, did I get my Madden check?
Yeah, are we going to get our $10,000 Madden check or something like that? And guys are ready because you've had a long day at the office all day long. It's probably like 5 p.m. And guys are like ready to go. And it's usually, you have those, I don't know how often they are, but I know usually by the time you have them and they're important, it's dark outside by 5 p.m. So it's later in the year.
Yeah.
And guys are just ready to go. And then all of a sudden, we have our PA meetings, which I think all guys need to go to.
They should.
Because there's a lot of good information there and you ask questions, you get in these micro groups. But all of a sudden, everyone cares when you go to the meeting.
Like presidential vote.
Yeah. And it's just like the wild, wild west when everybody gets in those rooms. I think it's good learning. We're talking about this one specific situation because there was a deadline. Let's just say we were all meeting there on March 10th and say the deadline is March 13th. So votes are happening as we are in the meeting room. And there were already like 50% of the votes had happened before we're doing the NFLPA meetings. And so there's a lot of stuff that can get skewed. There's a couple of young guys that are standing there with me. They're like, hey, comp, I fucked up, man. Like, I voted this.
My vote back. A lot of guys want to take their vote back.
A lot of guys wanted to redo their vote. But it's because the owners, it is what it is. There's 32 owners and there's, over 1,000, 2,000 players, right? And the owners are billionaires. They're people who understand negotiating. They're people who understand leverage to the most elite level. And we don't. Like, players don't. We don't at all. We're players. We think we know.
And once you get to talking lockout and there won't be a season, guys start getting a little shaky. Like, oh, fuck. They're like, where's the deadline? Where do I sign? And so they know, like, guys are on, minimum contracts. So guys need their jobs.
Right.
And so they understand the power of patience.
Right. And the coach is already established during this time. So coaches are kind of, hey, if you guys don't show up, you feed into those young guys or depth players that might not have a job. Right? So it's like, hey, if so-and-so's showing up, we're going to roll with whoever does come. And so young guys who are coming in the league, like I would probably say my rookie year, second year self, I'm like, man, I want to be in the league. You're like, you don't know what to do. Do I listen to a vet like KJ? My coach is kind of in my ear saying, if you're not here, that's not a good look for you. And you're like, is my career about to be over with if I don't show up and I get with these guys? Because if I go with the fellas, if I go with the boys, and my job might be gone, like, am I taken care of? That answer ultimately is like, no. So it's just, I am pro player and like the scope of it is big. And it's like, there will be like, I remember when I was saying the whole, you know, we need to storm the beach and stuff like that. And some kid was like, you know, we got certain jobs. I was like, bro, there will be casualties.
Yeah.
But that's the truth. That is the truth though. Like that's just like, bro, there's gonna be sacrifice had. Like
and who's willing to say I'm gonna be that guy.
Right, exactly. And
who's willing to do that?
Right. And I don't mind that dude saying that. I understand that's his story and everything else. It's just these are the facts or what's gonna happen if we go through and do this. I was about it because I'm in the back end and everything else. So I have my own version.
Yeah.
You said that the owners always win. Where do you think have there been where the players have won? Like, what are some victories, I guess?
Well, let's understand. Like, we're winning too. Like, we're winning too, and it's just the sense of like the revenue split. Like the revenue split to my knowledge, 51-49. I personally believe we should be 50-50 partners. Like, why are we not 50-50 partners? And obviously the salary goes up every year. We're winning in that sense. And we won with like the padded practice. Like, remember back in the day, it was like 2 a days, 3 a days, banging. I wasn't there then, but I heard stories. And so we're winning, but I believe that we can get so much more power, like the franchise tag. I believe that just needs to get rid of that because it suppresses the market. If that makes sense. Like, it suppresses the market. Get rid of the franchise tag. And there's some other things that we can win at. So I feel like we're equal, you know, on the same playing field as owners.
Or at least do away with the other tags that come after the franchise tag. Like there's a transitional tag. There's like, you can be tagged, a couple times?
Even for like the undrafted free agents, the, what's the thing, where they get, with the draft, when they could tender you.
Oh yeah, I was a restricted free agent, bro.
Tender. I don't even understand why the tender exists. Can you explain the tender? Like, it's like for undrafted guys.
Yeah, so when I was undrafted, you sign a 1 year or a 3-year deal. You don't sign a 4-year like all the other rookies. To get to free agency, you need 4 seasons. You need 4 seasons under your belt to get to free agency. So when your deal is up as a like an undrafted guy, it's only 3 years. So that 4th year, they have the ability to restrict you in free. So you're going to be a free agent, but you're a restricted free agent. Now, what happens is you either get labeled first round tender, a second round tender, or a low round tender.
Yeah.
A first round tender, the money's obviously higher. And if I first round tender KJ Wright and I'm the Raiders, I would have to come correct with at least a first round draft pick to trade to negotiate and get you.
Yeah.
If it's a second round, I need to have at least a second round pick to negotiate with KJ.
Right.
I believe that's what it is. It's something like that. A low round goes on the round you were drafted. So I got low round tender. So I'm undrafted. I can be negotiating with other teams, but the team has the right of first refusal.
Yeah. And they got to give up that draft pick to get you.
Right. They have to give up something to get you.
It.
So they kind of lock you in. Now, what sucked for me is I was on P squad for the first year. So even though it counts as a accredited season, it's not an accrued season. The difference is accredited season is 3 games and an accrued season is 8 or 7.
I'm stumped.
An accrued season is 7 or 8 games. Alex will look that up while we continue to talk about it. But when I was a P squad player, my first year gets counted as accredited year towards benefits, but it doesn't get counted as an accrued season towards free agency. So by the time my contract was up with the Redskins, that was 3 years. Only 2 were accrued. The third one was credited because I was practice squad.
Yeah.
So my 4th year was an exclusive rights free agent.
Yeah.
Meaning no one gets to deal with you and they get to offer you and I essentially have to accept whatever they offer. So it's a 1-year minimum. So they gave me a 1-year minimum. You know, the social media, we signed Will Compton. Everybody was like, yeah. And it's like, bro, this is what I'm saying. It's like a 1-year, $600,000 deal. And at this point, I think I had just started my 10 games. The next year, I was captain and starter. So I'm playing on a 1-year, $600,000 deal.
Yeah.
Once exclusive rights is up, that's my 3rd accrued season. Now, going into my 5th year, I'm a restricted free agent.
You're not even unrestricted.
Not even unrestricted yet. I got to go through exclusive, restricted, and then I get to unrestricted.
There it goes.
So then I was restricted. They low round tender me. I play out that year. And then I was unrestricted.
And you getting older.
And at that point,
More
by the
mileage
time
on
I
your
hit my
body.
unrestricted free agency, I was like 27, I believe, when I came to the Titans. 27, 28 years old.
Yeah.
Or I was turning 28, something like that. But still doing it, man, at a high level. Yeah, they were trying to hold me back. But
Shelf,
right,
you gotta get your albums out to off. Won't let you. Hell,
right. And then coming into the league at 23, I was like a fifth-year senior coming into the league, like an older guy anyway.
Yeah.
Coming into the league.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, they get all them years on you.
And then we signed 10-year contracts. I still don't understand why the hell it's so long. And so, man, it's we got a lot of work to do. And we've came a long way. Like, you imagine where they were like back in the day. Like, they couldn't even hit free agency like back in the day. Like, the teams had your rights your whole career. And so we definitely made progress over the years, but we could still do way more.
Yeah, we have came a long way.
Yeah.
Definitely not neglecting that. But there are a lot of things like the last CBA, we screwed ourselves because we wanted the vet players we raised the level of the minimum for them, which in turn we thought was better, but it kind of fucked that middle. You had the guys who signed the big deals, and then that middle class was getting very squeezed because
and they was getting forced out the league.
Right, you get forced out of the league because you can just get a young guy. If I'm a little bit better than a young guy, let's say Jack comes in the league as a draft pick, as a 7th round pick, right? Or you have a 7th round pick. My bad, no disrespect, brother. You have a draft pick, right, that you can use. And I'm I'm now a veteran, so you have to pay me a vet minimum, which we all get now. So my 1 year vet minimum this year is like one year, close to $1 million, 907,000. So if I know I'm going to be a 1 year vet, the coaches might love me. They know what I bring to the table, the leadership, all the intangible stuff, right? But if you're a GM and you're the guy who gets to pick in the draft and build your team for the future, I know y'all love Will, and he might be a little bit better than this low round pick.
Right.
But this low round pick is going to be $400,000, $400,000 or $500,000.
Yeah.
So all that matters is I'm showing the owner the bottom line, and we might take a little dip in him as a player, but if Will's not going to be a starter, he's going to be a depth player. We can get a rookie.
Down special teams.
Yeah, we can get a rookie who plays special teams, and it's on you guys to develop him. You guys can't develop him, I'm going to cover my ass, and you guys will probably get fired. But that's ultimately how that shit works, dude.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
And so, what they did also was they gave a lot of the money to the quarterbacks. We thought in this new deal, like, oh, it's going to help out the vets. They just gave all that shit to the quarterbacks.
Right, those top positions that you need.
They just paid them, and their markets really increased. So for the middle guys, it was a beast. And so if you weren't like the elite of the league,
right. And quarterbacks are in a kind of a category of their own because they negotiate kind of percentages of like what the cap can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I know Kirk was trying to change the narrative of being like getting guaranteed deals, taking less of the top end to show, hey, we can get guaranteed deals.
Fully guaranteed.
Yeah. But you need guys like, why don't we have guaranteed contracts? It's like, it's not in the NBA's CBA to have guaranteed contracts. Yeah. The players just set that standard. So you need guys, say you get an offer to do 5 years, $100 million, but 80 of it's guaranteed. You would have to be willing to go like 4 years, $60 million fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed, yeah.
But the guys want that extra boost to get up to 100, which you can't hate them because we're all playing the selfish game anyway. But if we're truly wanting the greater good for what the players are going to do, those are the standards you kind of have to set.
Not too many people got that mindset.
Not too many people got that mindset.
Probably nobody got that mindset. Like and like in this league, man, like our window is so short. And it's like not too many guys are willing to be that sacrificial lamb because I gotta get it. Well, I got a family to feed.
Right.
And so I get it, but if we really want to see true change, like guys got to be able to do certain stuff like that.
Be out in front.
Good.
Right.
But that kind of plays against us in the same breath. Because that is why we don't necessarily get up to the guaranteed contracts. Yeah. Because we are a 100% injury rate. Like we are the most injured, physical, violent sport.
Mm-hmm.
So that does play against us. Like a baseball player and everything else, you understand the layout of somebody's future.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened to Earl.
Well, most guys with Earl, like most guys don't want to go into that last year of their deal. Like guys want to get paid beforehand. So you got that, that security. And so Earl, the Seahawks didn't pay Earl, going to his last year. And so during his contract year, that's when he got hurt. And so, sorry, it's the business. We won. Essentially, we won. And yeah, that's when they went to the Ravens after that. And so if you can, man, get that deal done. But most guys don't got that kind of power. Like, oh, I'm gonna get this done. Like only a select few can actually do that. And so yeah, he was pissed.
But that's the risk of betting on yourself if you don't get it done. If you get it done early, if Earl would have done it early,
Yes.
you're taking that hometown discount no matter what happens because you're not going to the market. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes and no. For example, what Bobby did. Bobby signed a year before. Bobby reset the market.
Right, because he's like
Yeah.
the best linebacker in the league.
Yeah.
He gets to reset the market, but on the other end of the table, they have a better grasp of knowing where that market could be if he would have waited to get to the market.
Oh, yeah, because after Bobby signed, then the Fred Warners came and the Darius Leonards. Yeah.
Yeah, but this was the Legion of Boom era, which you can talk about. But there's so many guys, like I'm sure he was in the middle of a deal. You got Bobby Wagner under contract. You got Sherm. You got Cam. You got all these dudes.
Yeah, this was later. This may have been Earl's 8th year. It was like later on. It wasn't his first go round. Yeah, his first go round, I believe he got paid a year before. Mm-hmm.
And all good things come to an end.
All good things.
You can't have the KJ Wright on his rookie deal forever. You can't have all these guys on their deals
Mm-hmm.
because it's time for everybody to get paid and get what they're worth and their value. But talk about your Legion of Boom years, dude. I don't even know what specifically. We can talk about how you guys should have handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Man, I was surrounded by some freaking superstars. And I didn't even like realize, like, these are my boys, like, you know, Cam, you know, Sherm, these are homies. Like, we came in here together. But when you like look at it, like we were like the Beatles of
I love that.
the NFL.
He said
No,
it.
we're the
He's
Beatles
got a
of the
smile like that.
NFL.
I'm really saying that.
And it's like when we stepped on the field, it's like you could like low key see like guys were like intimidated to play against us.
100%.
Like guys knew like they don't stand a chance. And I was just surrounded by greatness. And we just kicked ass for a solid 5 years.
Who was your coordinator the majority of those years?
Gus was the first 2, but Dan Quinn.
Does he have a similar style as Gus?
Same thing, yeah, over cover 3.
They're the same style of coach, so it was good that you guys were able to pick up where you left off.
Yep.
And being able to speak on that, like this, the simplicity of being able to have few calls, but at the same time, there's a lot of different wrinkles, and you go tendency to tendency week in and week out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what sets
Yes.
that defense, Gus Bradley, and those kind of methods apart, because you're able to be an offensive coordinator while you're playing because you only know you're going to play a certain amount of calls.
Mm-hmm. You get to jiggy rig your defense based off what the offense is doing.
Right.
So you don't gotta like, oh, this week we're going palms, next week we're going quarters. No, we gonna run cover 3, but to what they do, we're gonna adjust something. I need the buzzer to do this. I need the hook player to play it like this. And so, yeah, man, we had a good ass time.
Bro, you guys were so good, man.
We had a good time, man. And it's like, the crazy part about all of it is like, it went by way too fast. Like, I thought I was gonna play with like these guys my whole career. Like, we came in together, we gonna go out together.
How long did you guys get to play together?
Guys left differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cliff had injured his neck. Cam injured his neck. Sherm tore his Achilles. Earl broke his leg. I left. It all happened like boom, 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 boom.
That's
boom.
the fucking realization of this league.
Yeah.
Dude. Injuries and leaving at different times.
Yeah.
I vividly remember watching the game you guys, because I want to ask about how tight you guys all actually were. It seems like you guys were all super close. But at the time, like, I forget who made a mistake, but something happened and everyone's jumping around that dude.
Bro, that was a Falcons game.
Yeah.
When Sherm got mad?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, we was playing the Falcons, and all week we went over this concept. Like, they're about to do this play. Here the play come, the formation comes, and tight ends run up the seam, is wide ass open. And
KJ get mad thinking about it.
Yeah.
This motherfucker, who is wide ass open, man?
We get on the sideline, and he was mad, like, oh, what are we mad about? Like, we practiced this all week. And we was just like, Cam got a hold of Sherm, Bobby got over there, and we was just jumping. And like, that just shows the power of like how much we love each other. We could take, one of our boys that's just pissed off and like make everything cool. And we ended up winning that game.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was super dope to see. Were
Yeah.
you guys all that tight?
Yes. It was like, watch film together, had linebacker night together, had defensive night together. And like, eventually we started having families. Like, everybody started having kids around the same time, going to each other's weddings. And then so it was like super cool to see like-minded dudes that loved each other play together. Like, I believe that's what makes like a special like unit. Like, I actually love Bobby, and I'm like, I'm playing for this dude. I'm playing for his family. And if I fuck up, I feel bad that I'm letting him down because he put so much work into it. If I blow a coverage, I know they Cam looks at me like, dog, like, you better than that. And I don't want to let my boys down. And so that was the power of what we had. And like I said, man, it went by way too fast. Went by way too fast.
Yeah. No, that is it's like a rare thing. You guys got to be part of a rare thing, especially in the NFL because of all the turnover and everybody coming in and out. Like being able to stick together and have like a college, high schoolish type camaraderie of playing at the highest level.
Yeah.
I think is awesome.
And then Pete like structured it. He was like, dude is super cool. Like playing music at every practice. We shoot hoops. Every meeting, we was shooting hoops, like having competition. Like we had like NCAA tournaments, like in like OTAs and stuff. And so like the structure that he created for us to like be ourselves, to be cool, to talk shit, had little scuffles at practice and, let it go on a little longer than it should. Like he did stuff like that. And so
what was that like when y'all lost or when you guys had losing patches or rough patches? Because a lot of things, you'll see coaches come in and if the culture's bad, take the ping pong tables out, take this out, like there's having too much fun, like it's not supposed to be this way type of thing. Like what was it like when you guys were going through rough patches, not only the good?
It would get tight, but the core stayed the same. Like we would still hoop, we would still do whatever, but shit got tightened up. And you could feel the tension nah, one game is too much. 2 games is unheard of. Losing 2 games in a row is unheard of. And so like we would still have our fun, but we tightened it up the way that it should have been in order to get back on track.
That's awesome. Let's just hit on it. The Super Bowl. Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Passing the ball, interception.
Yeah.
What was that emotion like? As I've witnessed your emotion a little bit, being in the Chargers game and giving up that shit at the end. What was that emotion?
That's funny.
What was that emotion like when y'all were right fucking there?
What was pre-play attitude first?
Pre-play attitude, I was screaming, why are we in shotgun?
Oh, so you guys weren't even still like, I'm sure you were thinking, oh, we're winning this fucking game, but you were upset just by seeing shotgun.
Pre-play, I was screaming, why are we in shotgun? And because we was right there. 2nd down, I believe. Like, why the hell are we in shotgun? And then balls get snapped. And it's just so unreal. Just like, if we do that play 100 times, we execute it 97 times. It's a pick play. Pick the guy, run the slant, you should be wide open. But how Malcolm did that is, it's like a Superman play. It's like the Hulk. The dude's like the Hulk on that play. Like, he literally ran through.
It happened to catch it.
Pick. That's nothing but God. That's nothing but God, bro. That wasn't him. That's nothing but God. And dog, just to go in that locker room, like, I was boohoo crying. Like, I never cried in an NFL career. I was boohoo crying. Like, how did this happen? I should be, back-to-back champion right now. Like,
I know, because y'all beat the hell out of who was it the year before?
Denver. And was really beating the Patriots. Was beating the Patriots by like 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, I believe. Maybe in the 4th quarter. Terrific Tom comes through.
AJ, can you talk about who was harder to play?
Two greats, yeah.
That's a good point.
Tom Brady. I knew was gonna win the Broncos game. With Brady, it was just like they don't run like a traditional style offense. It's like they kind of do like
they adapt every week.
And with the running back, I forget the running back they had. They threw it to him a lot that game. And obviously you got Gronk and Edelman, and there's just so much stuff that they can do. And I knew there was gonna be a battle facing those dudes. And I knew that on defense they had some dogs on defense too. They had Chandler Jones, Darrell Reeves was over there. Brandon Browner. So I was like, okay, our offense, they got their hands full too. And so I knew the Patriots game was gonna be tough.
Did you guys just know you were going to beat the Broncos because like Manning was just kind of...
Just watch the film. You could tell. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're about to win this shit. And when it was watching the Broncos, it was really bad defense. Like, I was going to see some really bad defenses that year. Like, who are they playing? And so we knew that they saw a defense that wasn't even close to ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we knew that when we stepped on the field, like, with all due respect.
With all due respect, man.
Yeah, this not gonna be close.
Let's touch on a little bit about your first year coming into the league, because when I was looking over stuff, I remember Lofa Tatupu.
My God.
He got released. Was it your rookie year, right?
Yeah, it was during training camp.
And then also you're playing a couple different positions. They put you at Mike.
Yeah.
Also Aaron Curry was on that team. Somebody he was a first rounder coming out of Wake Forest. Somebody who was supposed to be like a Pete Willis type thing.
Yeah.
He might have been before Pete Willis. I can't remember. Or no, he was after Pete Willis, right? Explain your rookie year.
I came in during the lockout year. So I came in, no OTAs, and I was just chilling at home. Then a deal gets signed. Hey, get your ass up here tomorrow. I'm like, what? And so I had to literally pack all my stuff and go to Seattle like the next day. So that's the whole whirlwind in itself. And then I came in. The way that I earned my starting spot was David Hawthorne had got hurt in training camp. They put me at Mike Backer, right? So I did pretty good. Then Hawthorne came back, and then Curry, that's my guy. I love Curry.
Yeah.
But he wasn't playing to what the coaches was looking for. So then they put me at the Sam spot. And I just never looked back ever since then. I played Sam my first 2 years, then they moved me to Will.
Did you have anxieties your rookie year at all? Similar, different style that you did in the free agency world, because coming in as a rookie, especially with a roster that you guys, the backers that were in the room, did you have any anxieties going through that first year?
No, rookie year was cool. Rookie year was smooth. It was just the whole fact of leaving home. What'd you say?
I said, good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah. It was just the whole fact of like leaving home. I've been in Mississippi my whole life. I remember leaving the airport, like I was literally in tears. Like I was like, damn, I'm really about to leave. And but I came in and I did pretty good. And hats off to Norton, because he if it wasn't for Norton, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today.
He had a big name around that time. Not that he doesn't have a big name anymore, but coming out of like USC and having those studs on that USC team, being with y'all, like I'm sure it was a lot of fun, like learning underneath him and getting to know him.
He had put like these like shackles on my feet, like these. Because they said, like, I got these long legs, so like my feet were all over the place. So he put these things on my ankles to practice in and do walkthrough in, like keep my legs tight. And so, yeah, it was crazy. Like, Deuce making fun of me every day. Like, why the hell you got them things on your ankles? And so he put these things on my feet to where I was like right here. I couldn't overextend.
Right.
So just little stuff like that he did for me, like life changing for me.
That reminds me. So when I got to the Raiders and I was like, what's our linebacker coach like? Coach Smith, like, what's our linebacker coach like? He's like, oh, you'll see. He coaches hard. He coaches hard.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop coaching.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned that there was a time during the year where you doubted your own ability. And hearing that from you, like, I know you're telling me you're thinking, I'm like, oh, damn, that's crazy. But in my brain, what's actually going on is like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? You're KJ Wright type of thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, you're KJ Wright. Like, you're a beast. Like, how is that kind of stuff going through your head?
Bro, my confidence was shot throughout the season.
Is that because of the free agency stuff?
No, bro. It's because how I was...
You're top 100 now.
Bro, it's because how, like, when I was playing, like, Coach Smith, he's so detailed. Like, every little thing you do, like, he sees. And it was like, kids, you got to do this. Kids, you got to do that. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. I'm like, damn, like, what am I doing good?
Yeah.
If I didn't have Denzel last year, like, I would have lost my mind.
Because Denzel had played for him?
Denzel's used to Coach Smith like KJ. You know Denzel is, bro.
No, he's so funny,
like,
man.
bro, like, you a fucking dog. You a baller. Like, you KJ Wright. Like, chill. And I was like, I just had to learn to, like, process and, like, what is he saying? And I need to put in my brain how to interpret it versus, like, being so critical of myself.
Yeah.
I know I'm a badass. And if I let this get to me, then I'm just going to keep going in this downward spiral. I told you that. I told you I lost confidence.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild. I only told Denzel that. But yeah, bro. It was,
that's what you was telling me. I thought it was wild too.
yeah.
Because I was just kind of asking about him and everything else. And bro, I'm listening to you talk like you fucking love playing linebacker.
Yeah, bro. I got a strong passion for it. Like I put like my whole adult lifehood into my craft.
Absolutely. There's no question.
Yeah.
Because the idea of all this anxiety getting to you in times where it ultimately works out, especially like when you know you're a badass and being so inside of the box of him coaching you in minor details that you weren't at the moment until you're like talking with people and actually thinking through it.
Yeah.
But to be able to kind of just zoom out for a second and be like, oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when Bissacia would coach me hard, especially, and he like, make fun of me or something, or the whole put that on your radio show or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm just like, I know it's going to be straight.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
bro,
why you are as great as you are.
Yeah. Like every year, like cut time, I was like, I wasn't at ease. I was never at ease during cut time. And I always felt like somebody, like anybody 4th, 5th round, like somebody's going to come and like take my spot. So I like had this like intensity and detail about myself. Like I got to be on my shit all the time or else like, I get my spot taken.
Right.
So I just had this detailed demeanor about myself to like, I got to be on point. That's just how I carried myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there thinking, I'm hearing Coach Smith right now talking about your long legs and get your feet tighter. And it's just like, bro, he's a monster. Well,
bro.
How do you expect him to get his feet moving like Denzel? Like Denzel's way different.
Yeah. And I told Coach Smith after the season, I was like, man, thank you. Because like I experienced something with you that I've never ever experienced in my NFL career. Like you pushed me to a point to where like I've never been pushed before.
Like what?
Like with details, like with just my stance, like my eyes, like any little false step you take, he's on it. And so I just not live up to what he wanted, but like I had to like play a certain style to like, I guess appease my coach or like be like, coach, this is how it should be done. Boom, you got it.
Or not get too much outside of yourself since you've had like a decade career. And you know how you can get, older players can get a little more loose with their techniques and their details and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. So he tightened it up for me. So
I want to read some stuff that people were saying about you. And I heard that you're somebody who loves helping people. He wants to share his knowledge with all the young guys.
Yeah.
He's truly somebody that wants to see everybody succeed. And piggybacking on that, being around you, knowing that, when I got in there, and we go in, obviously, before we got whooped by KC, but you're like, hey, we do this, we go out as linebackers and do drills and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, okay. You go out with them, and he's like leading drills and everything else. On Tuesdays, was it Tuesdays with Diablo? Divine Diablo, rookie. You're sitting in just you two one-on-one meetings, and you're going over stuff with him. So I've gotten to witness like who you are, not only as a player, but you're somebody that Bissacia would stand up after practice.
Yeah, I hated when he did that too.
I know you did. I could tell.
I'm like, bro, stop saying my name.
Yeah. You don't want players being like, oh, here he goes with KJ.
Yeah.
Like we know KJ's a beast.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it speaks to who you are because you're not a loud vocal guy. You're kind of like soft spoken. You're not like a big rah-rah guy. You are when you have to be. But why is giving back to the younger guys so important to you? And how have you kind of built this reputation, or how do you feel about this reputation that you have with everybody when they say things like that? Yeah,
I mean, for me, it always pissed me off, like seeing like vets, like, oh, he's not my responsibility. I don't gotta help a rookie out. To me, that's bullshit. Like somebody helped me when I was a rookie get to where I was, and it's kind of like the circle of life. It's kind of like a brotherhood. Like we in this thing together. And somebody gave it to me, so it's my responsibility to give back to somebody else. And I believe like when you give, like you end up receiving more on the back end. And so I see
Bradley had that big teaching that one day.
Yeah.
I really fucked with.
I saw a lot of quarterbacks say like, oh, this quarterback's coming in. It's not my job to help him get better. That's like, what the fuck? What is that? And so this has always been my style on and off the field. Just help people get to where I am.
Was it ever harder for you to do knowing you were in the back seat with the Raiders compared to being somebody who's a starter and the man the whole time?
It took me a while to get there. It took me a while. Once I found my groove and like came to the Raiders, I came in week 1.
Yep.
So I had to build a relationship with the guys, show guys I could still play. And once I got settled in, I'm like, okay, now I can start being the KJ that I need to be.
Right.
And you wasn't there. Were you there when I talked to the team before the Browns came?
Late in the year?
When I gave that speech to the Browns. I don't think you were there.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so
For the Browns game?
Browns game.
No, that was the time I left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I gave a speech the week before the day of the Browns game, just telling the fellas, what it is and like playoff football, December football, this is how it should look. And bro, we went on a 4-game winning streak. And so, I got a lot to give. And when I do speak,
People listen.
people listen.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a great ad from the boys at NASCAR. Shout out NASCAR. No free shout outs. There's no better place to kick off the 2022 NASCAR season than at iconic Daytona International Speedway with the 64th running of the annual Daytona 500. Winning the Daytona 500 is compared in sports to winning the Masters, the Super Bowl, or a gold medal in the Olympics. The Great American Race is not only motorsports' biggest race for drivers. Let me do that again, that little motorsports' deal. The Great American Race is not only motorsports' biggest race for drivers, but is a bucket list event for fans from all over the globe to attend in person. Country artist Luke Combs will get the party started, welcoming the fans back to the track with a pre-race concert. That's a hitter. As the music stops and the action begins, fans will be on the edge of their seats for 500 miles of heart-pounding racing action. Over 100,000 people gathered to be a part of this prestigious event. The energy, excitement, and power of being there in person will stay with you for a lifetime. Tune in to the greatest race in all of motorsports, the Daytona 500. I'm sure Dale Jr. is going to be there. Sunday, February 20th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Speak on Bissacia, dude. Because you were there you were there week 1.
Yeah.
You were there when all the Gruden stuff went down.
Yeah.
You were there when all the headlines came out with Ruggs.
Yeah.
With who was the cornerback's name? Arnett, the corner on Instagram with the guns.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was there when Hobbs got the DUI, but all these things are happening throughout the year. Speak on the year, because you're not somebody who's been invested in the Raiders. You're on a 1-year deal. You just were there this year.
Yeah.
Speak on the year of the Vegas Raiders being there the entirety of the year.
It was a roller coaster, bro. It was a real roller coaster. Like, bro, for us to like pull out 10 wins with all this stuff we went through, pretty damn impressive.
Absolutely.
Pretty damn impressive.
This kind of year will be talked about. I think it'll be an example for interim head coaches. Like Bissacia, to me, is the bar.
I'm surprised he didn't get hired.
Same. I think we're all surprised, but also there's in a way of you that's not surprised. Understanding the high ups.
Yeah, but my thing is like, if you're higher up, like the players make the team go, and if the players are connected with the coach, the shit should flow.
Absolutely.
Like you got to literally start over, like building relationships, and that stuff takes time.
Right.
That stuff takes time.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think we were all. That's why I would say, when we were playing at the end of the year, like guys not only wanted to win and get in the playoffs for each other, and like these opportunities don't come often, but also people wanted to see Bissacia.
You felt like dudes really loved him.
Right. Yeah.
Like dudes really loved him. I never had a coach to where like dudes like really gravitated and like really like loved and respect him. Like Rich is a different dude. He's a different dude. And he had an impact on offense, defense, and special teams. Like dudes like really gravitated towards him. And so like that's just a no-brainer. Like, damn, you gotta make, like, give me another year. Just I'm into a 1-year deal.
Right.
Give me another year to do this thing.
Yeah. You kind of knew where it might go, especially when they fired Mayock. You kind of figured that, okay, whenever they get,
Yeah.
Because you bring in a new GM, it's like when a head coach gets hired and they bring in their staff.
They bring in their guy.
It's like if a GM gets hired, they're obviously going to be sitting there with Mark Davis, and they'll probably talk about all the stuff on bringing in so-and-so and bringing in their guys, and then they get infatuated with the fantasy football aura of what it could be, instead of seeing like what has been right there in front of you.
What's real? Like, I'm not just going to get this offensive guru. I'm going to get what's real.
Right.
That the guys respect.
What was it like when Gruden was out and then Bissacia steps in immediately?
It was a pretty smooth transition. It was a pretty smooth transition. And the different styles with Bissacia, like Bissacia didn't play. Like you saw he put dudes' fines up. Like he'll call anybody out and he'll dress anything. And so he'll dress anything and anybody. And he just had this demeanor, like I'm this tough alpha male, but I can also still be on the same level as you to where we in this shit together. But no, we go get this right, but I'm gonna still be one with the boys.
Right.
Yeah.
One with the boys. I love that. Yeah, kumbaya with the boys, man. I did hear that when I was asking, like, hey, how's it been with Coach Bissacia and stuff? And guys were like, oh, a lot of things tightened up. Like dudes was parking in like handicap spots or electric car spots, and like a lot of things kind of just tightened up around the building.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have, boys? You guys have anything?
I'm good.
How long was that?
We were at an hour 15. I think the conversation's been
Phenomenal, man.
Yeah,
great, dude.
All the NFLPA stuff.
Yeah, it was good.
Did we get enough stories in?
I thought we got some good shit. Unless you got something you want to tell.
You got some stories?
Take them.
You talk about some of those battles with the Niners.
God, Bloss is a Niners fan. Don't worry about him, bro.
Don't worry about
What did we miss?
Hey, you got some Niners stories, man?
Yeah,
I know.
What is Mr. Unlimited like?
Yeah. What's it like playing with Mr. Unlimited?
Won't be answering that question.
Hey, you did. It seems like the media got you a little bit by baiting you into talking about his contract, and you said he should take a pay cut to help the team. Did you get got by that?
Twitter was on my head when I said that. And here's the thing. The reason I said that was because there's some free agents that's about to come up for the Seahawks that I love. And like Seahawks cap space is a little tight. It's a little tight. And so I was saying it from the sense of, can something be done to help out the greater good? Because if some of the free agents leave, whoever the Seahawks put back there, it's going to get a little shaky. And so if, in my mind, if I can somehow help the team so I could be in the playoffs and win the division, I want the best people in the building. So if I can restructure a little bit to keep my boys in the building, then I think he should really consider that.
Got you. So a lot like a Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like a Tom Brady move to keep his boys around and make room for them.
Yeah.
Seems
You said people would do that more?
It seems like, people that love football would do that more often, but then it is, we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess the ultimate question is like, how much money is enough money?
Yeah, exactly.
Some people be like, if I got $1 million, my life is good.
And
Once you get that million, you're like, well, I want 5 million.
Yeah.
And so there's really no cap on how much, I should get in my bank account. Because like I said, the window is short. And some guys, 50 million, I earned every bit of this 50 million. I feel like I shouldn't have to give this away. Because at the end of the day, it's like, when it's all said and done, it's me and my family and my grandkids. And so everybody's mentality is different. I feel like if I was in that position, I would have like the Tom Brady mentality.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like.
This group, like how you had the Legion for 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
that's very rare.
Yeah.
You could make a change to keep that.
Yeah.
Thing.
But some guys look at football like, oh, it's football, and Super Bowl is a Super Bowl. I feel like some guys feel like money is more important than Pro Bowls. So everybody got their own motivations.
Yeah, no, that is true. I think sitting on this entire conversation too, we've talked about so many different perspectives of where your mental can be at.
Yeah.
Because then when you talk about, this stuff with like the ownership and the elite and how stuff's got to change, you start from a more of a selfish standpoint of like players.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we're talking about all of our player stuff, our player level of everything, it gets a little more. It can either be selfish or you got to be a little more selfless.
Yeah.
So there's just so many different mentalities for different situations too.
Because I remember when I was younger, like in high school and in college, I would see guys holding out. I'm like, why is he holding out? Like, bro, you got like all this money. Like, what are you doing? But when you get in that position, you see like, okay, I really got to maximize this. And I can't think of it like, I can't put the team before myself, essentially.
Right.
Some
there's
guys,
so many,
You're thinking about generations at that point too. It gets to be enough money for you. It's like you said, grandchildren, great grandchildren. Like that's generational.
Yeah. But some guys think like, hey, the Super Bowl is everything to me. I want to do everything I can to be great and be remembered. So we all got our different motivations.
And then from that too, like having the motivation of team and football and Super Bowls and championships, to me that speaks a lot more to the masses of people that get behind those guys who are like the All-American boys, right? You know what I mean? So that speaks more to them because, Blas, he wants the Niners to win a championship.
Yeah.
So when somebody's out there like, oh, I want to win I'm doing this for the Super Bowl, I'm doing this for the, people for that, it's like there's more of a percentage of people that like that.
Rally behind you.
That rally behind that. Because some people say, when is enough money enough?
Mm-hmm.
Very true. But if we continue to peel layers back, when he says generational wealth is clearly what drives the elite that society is trying to correct a little bit with all the Brian Flores stuff, with all that coaching stuff going on. Like there's so many different fucking levels.
Yeah.
That it all kind of depends on what game you're playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you beat the Broncos, was that like was there any thought of like I did it? Okay, I'm like, should I keep playing or is that it? Like,
oh no, definitely keep playing.
Go back and get it again.
Yeah, but I accomplished what so many guys want to and never will. I got that. I got what I was looking for when I was a kid. And it hits you like, damn, I really did it. Yeah. You just want to go do it again.
I know.
Is there any destinations that you want to play at? Like any teams that you want to play for coming up? Where would you like to play? I don't know if you had like a childhood team that you grew up liking that the opportunity presents itself to possibly play for them.
I grew up a Cowboys fan. And
same.
But for me and where I am right now, what I did this past year was I left my family in Seattle. Won't do that shit again. And so a team would have to come correct. They would have to come early in the free agency process so I can get my family situated, get them moved to wherever I am going to, and then go play ball. But if it happens like training camp, I put together a really good career. I'll be happy just transitioning to something else. Yeah.
How much longer do you want to play?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I don't have the answer to that.
Do you know what you want to do after ball?
Hmm.
What is that?
Yeah. I can't show the next move, but I'm gonna tell you this: I want to stay around the game of football.
Well, I figured that much.
I can't tell you what it is, though.
Damn, you can tell me off camera?
I'm gonna tell you off camera.
Okay.
I can't tell you now, though.
Let's go, boys. The whiskey distillers at Whistle Pig Whiskey have cut loose. This piggyback barrel-aged craft cocktail in a can is so much better than a seltzer. It's crisp, refreshing, super bold, and super flavorful. My personal favorite, the fresh ginger lime. I was hoping I grabbed the right can because there's also blackberry lemon fizz, session citrus mint. My personal favorite, the boys' personal favorite, is fresh ginger lime. There's nothing out there like it. It's a whiskey cocktail in a can, refreshing, bold, balanced, everything in between. Whistle Pig's take on a more flavorful seltzer, and it's at 8%. Sign the boys up. It's made with 100%, get this, boys. It's made with 100% estate-grown rye from the Whistle Pig Mountains of Vermont at their whiskey farm. The fruit in it is barrel-aged in whiskey barrels, giving it those subtle little whiskey notes. The boys are huge whiskey guys, especially me, but this is going to be my go-to for tailgates out on the boat, on the bonfire, at a bonfire. Barbecuing with the boys, honestly, is perfect for any kind of kickback or any type of outing. Visit piggybackcraftcocktail.com. Did I say that right? Dude, I did. Piggybackcraftcocktail.com for more info, and make sure you grab a box in select stores. They're all over Tennessee. Get a box, get a case for all the boys. Take photos, drink them, sip them, whatever you do. Tag us. We will engage with you because this is the boys now. Whistle Pig, Bussin' With The Boys. It's a thing of beauty. Piggyback Rice Smash. Ooh, does he have any good Marshawn Lynch stories?
I don't.
Come on now, you're lying,
like,
bro.
What was he like after the play? Was he vocal or was he quiet?
Nah, it was just mad.
Yeah.
just mad. And he played that next year, and I believe he left that following year. Just like when stuff like that happens, like a distrust occurs. Like, I can't trust you. I can't look at you the same. I don't know who you are. Like, that's the type of feeling you have. And so, all bad. All bad.
We need to get some of those boys on the bus, man. You might be our bridge.
Who you want?
Get the whole league.
Hug, man. Everybody we've kind of talked about.
You need to get like 2 guys in here.
Who are the 2? What 2 do you think should come on here?
Sherm. I think Doug would be good too.
A bald one?
Mm-hmm. Get Sherm and Doug on here.
You can help that? You can try and facilitate that for it? Not facilitate, but at least make the connection?
Do y'all fly guys out?
We will. We are going to start to, yeah.
Fly them out.
So if you would have played your cards right and asked the right questions.
I'll send you my voucher.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I would love to have those guys on, man. Marshawn would be huge. But who knows if you could get...
Yeah, he's so busy now.
Is he in a TV show now?
Marshawn's doing everything. Like, every time I go in like Walmart, he's on somebody, sponsoring somebody. You know, he works with the NFLPA now.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a brand ambassador. Subway, and the dude's killing it.
Yeah, I mean, he can essentially be a brand ambassador for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's about to do like commentating next season for Amazon. You see that?
Oh, yeah. They're like putting something together for him. You saw the show he's going to do, right? He's in some like funny freestyling crime scene show where they just give him like situations and they improvise through it.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you literally just have to hit record. And
Yeah.
then, like, you have a show.
Yeah.
How he is.
Yeah, he's funny, man. I'd love to meet the dude. So we don't know when you're going to hang him up.
Mm-mm. A team will have to come, like when free agency hits, it will have to be around that window.
See, I think listening to you say if it's training camp, then you'll hang him up.
No.
Which is crazy to me because, bro, you can finesse training camp. Let me teach you about the other side. Let me teach you about the other side of it.
Part 2.
Yeah, part 2. So you essentially finessed training camp this year.
And I hated it, bro. I came in week 1. Week 1 was my training camp. My legs were dead.
You just got to train a little harder. Train a little smarter. We train a little harder. We train a little smarter. We'll get you right. But, bro, you finesse putting that wear and tear on your body throughout OTAs and training camp. You get on the week 1 roster.
I'm winning.
You're guaranteed for the year.
Man.
He does. Especially,
You know what it is?
Especially, and not to like do my younger self a disservice. I was absolutely obsessed with football when I was younger, but we are very much, we see it differently being on the back end of stuff. You identify with being that ball player, like being that great elite at all times until it's done, which I respect and appreciate and admire about you.
Yeah.
That's what makes you the leader you are and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But man,
Is this still something I could tap into?
well, to me, so here's the awareness I essentially had. I had to accept that I was going to be in the minimum role year in and year out.
Mm-hmm.
And accepting that at the time was hard, like knowing that this could be my last year, being up in the air, balancing things, like I don't know where I'm going to be. It did take a toll. Like I'm not saying that I just made some transition and now I see it this way and I don't care about it as much and I kind of just am loosey-goosey, whatever it is. There was like that time of like coming to grips with like having to do that and give that up. Not give it up,
Right.
but zoom out a little bit and be like, bro, stop identifying so much with this that you care when something doesn't go your way because that would affect me. It would affect my sleep. It would affect all the stuff that you would talk about with your anxieties. Right. And so knowing that I had to accept that allowed me to be a little more graceful with myself, like as I'm doing these things. Like, okay, if I know I'm going to be this way and the team's not going to, come correct in my world or have a place to be in OTAs or training camp, then I'll accept my stance of like, I'm going to try and finesse as much training camp as I can and try to get on a team week 1 of the roster. Or if I don't like the situation, I'll wait until we get into the year to do it. Yeah. So I kind of just like, reality kind of sucked, but to me, it was just the whole acceptance thing. And for you, it's like you don't accept going all the way, waiting till training camp. You won't even wait to get to training camp. Like to me, it's like, okay, well, you're not doing OTAs. You have the entire month 1 to month the end of 7, so really 8 months to structure out all of your training and the way you're going to get that 1% better, because that's what we all chase as players. That 1% better throughout the offseason.
Yeah.
And so knowing you don't have OTAs, because OTAs to me, outside of the camaraderie, building the relationships, being in the book, and kind of building that culture with the fellas, on the business side of it, knowing that we cram everything in a 4-hour window and it's not necessarily the best thing for our body, knowing you get to have those days off and do it your own self. And if a team was wanting to negotiate with you in training camp, to me, you're kind of winning in that regard, because you've put 11 years together. Yeah. Not only that, but the legacy you get to speak on and talk about, we can smile and laugh about it, but we got to have a conversation like this, and people, the people that watch, there's billions, but they know you more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the proving yourself model.
That's the thing. Like, I always looked at myself like, I don't got time to miss training camp, or like I can't miss out on that window.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm getting behind.
A crucial time.
Yeah. I was like,
he's obsessed. Yeah, no, and I love it. It's like, a part of me wishes I was in a position like you, because it's like, man, it's a good time when you're obsessed year in and year out with like the one thing of football. But yeah, I guess I'm not gonna be able to talk you into it. No, but I appreciate you coming on, man. Yeah. This has been an awesome conversation.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Yes, dude. And I know we've known each other. We knew each other the 5 weeks, and I was gone for like 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I got connected with you on Twitter and social media because of the stuff you say. And literally that video is, to me, is just a very small look on top of the cookie jar, what you represent and what you're about. And I appreciate being able to like pick your brain. I appreciate being able to like trying to nudge you certain ways. And you're like, you're fucking, you're a legend, bro.
Yeah. And I didn't tell you, I meant to text you, but did they tell you they played your video before our game?
So, bro, Foster was telling me about that, but the video of me,
you just talking, and bro,
on Twitter,
that shit was so amazing. It was so inspiring, like to see like how much the guys loved you and how much you loved like the fellas. Like that's what ball is really about. Like even though you weren't with us, like I still felt like you were still connected, like to the squad. So
why? Yeah, you kind of explain why, but the reason you said you hate when Bissacia stands you up, and you hate that. I'm sitting as what you're saying right now. I'm appreciating and seeing it like, damn, you can just tell that motherfuckers like jive with this dude.
Yeah.
And you feel kind of like, when Foster told me that, it's like, damn, you don't know how guys are going to take it because they're showing some video and I'm on Twitter. You know what I mean? It's not like I was in front of y'all.
Yeah.
But hearing that, like, it's like the roles kind of switch, right? You kind of feel vulnerable, a little bit of horniness.
Yeah.
Of, damn, they're kind of showing... They're showing that, but that was when Foster told me that was I was hyped to know that the reaction was good, because I was like, damn, what everybody kind of.
Oh no, it was perfect. It was perfect.
Well, that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you. I wish you guys would have fucking won that game though.
No, they went to the Super Bowl, so
that shows that we could have been in the Super Bowl. Hey, what's crazy is Divine went out with a concussion and he didn't return.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have been alive back with the fellas that next week, bro.
I know, right?
When that happened and it says he wasn't returning, I wasn't like, I'm obviously, I hope nothing's wrong with his head and stuff like that. I'm thinking he's gonna have to go through protocols. Hey, I might be back in this thing.
Yeah.
And we would have played the Titans too. Which would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But well, I hope you make it up to Garrett. He's a huge Titans guy. I mean, I love the boys. I'm for the boys, but if I'm on the Raiders, like,
I got Garrett came back that fast.
He's a monster, bro. I like
the same injury he had.
Same.
Did he break his foot? Fifth
metatarsal. Did you get a screw put in?
Got a screw put in.
I did too. He didn't. So
really?
That's what the grace I'm giving us. Because he came back as fast as he came back, and I'm like, bro. Well, I was grinding to come back, but there's like the way you have to be a running back and come back, because we could function playing linebacker, but you're still very uncomfortable playing on an injury like that.
How long did it take you?
It took me, I was back, it was in college, so you know how college tries to get you back on the field.
Yeah.
I was back in 8 weeks, but I had a steel plate underneath my foot, and it was the most uncomfortable thing.
It's terrible.
I should, like,
You just feel like your foot about to snap again.
Yeah. I would have, if I'm like where I'm at now or in the league and stuff, like you would need a good 10, 12 weeks. But he had like a plate put in. He just had a stress fracture.
It wasn't a clean break?
He didn't have a compound break to where it snapped.
Oh, okay.
When yours happened, it felt like somebody shot you in the foot, right?
Yeah, and I heard it. It's like...
That gets painful by the end of the night, bro.
Yeah.
Just two legends up here talking ball. No, but I appreciate you, man. Good luck getting. I hope you drive safe back up to Memphis and everything. But I truly appreciate you coming by the bus. I'm glad you got to come on it. I know I was badgering you all season, like, hey, when that off season comes, you got to come on. But I have a lot of respect for you, man. And I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.